Thank you for waiting. Your patience is appreciated. Please hold the line and we'll be right back with you.
Oh no, on Tuesday nights the door's always locked until Marnie gets here, because she's always the last in.
Yeah, of course.
She locks.
Right.
Huge changes just the past hour. You're gonna sit there, but Kat is. Al will be here. Kat has got the flu. Marnie is locked up with. So we knew Kat was gonna be out earlier today, but Marnie about 45 minutes ago. And we debated canceling, and I'm like, no, let's just do it. Everybody's already promoted and done. We may be an abbreviated show, but
Thank you for holding. We sincerely appreciate your patience. Please stay on the line, and we'll be back in a moment.
How are you?
as possible to do, yes. If you don't know, I forgot to get through the network. There's the Studio C, or is it Studio C or Onboy, either one, but the password's over at the sunset for one thing. What I was experiencing with this was, I had on channel 1112 was the audio from this laptop. Okay.
That's why my brain thought it's the audio level.
I never thought about the other level of the shot.
Thanks for holding. We appreciate your time and patience. Please stay on the line and we'll be back in just a moment.
I thought it's because this board has been weird, and I just took it from this and put it on this pod. That I just recorded something, uploaded it, listened to it, and it's perfectly fine. But it's the same thing that I listened to here. It always sounded right here. I never thought about audio in the shot. And it's only that device. It's not this device. Right. You know what I bet I should.
Thank you for waiting. Your patience is appreciated. Please hold the line, and we'll be right back with you.
When I take the shot full screen, it's muted. I see the source. Now, I just went to the shot where it's the 4 shot with the video in the center. It was not muted. I'm getting full level out of that because it's pulling it off the card on the intensity. I can't believe. Well, I'm glad you thought of it. I never thought of that.
That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, obviously, when you get it right.
Let me look. Okay, so then that one, that's another shot. That's so frustrating. Honestly, God, I can't believe
Now you don't have to replace the board.
I don't know. I still think the board is weird. Here's the big one. There was a pop to it. There was something that happened some time ago, and then these audio levels were.
Thank you for
non-existent.
holding.
I made some
We
change
look
also
forward
in
to
the audio
talking with you soon. Please hold the line and we'll be right back with you.
Thanks for holding. We appreciate your time and patience. Please stay on the line, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Thank you for holding. We sincerely appreciate your patience. Please stay on the line and we'll be back in a moment.
Thank you for holding. We look forward to talking with you soon. Please hold the line, and we'll be right back with you.
Thank you for waiting. Your patience is appreciated. Please hold the line and we'll be right back with you.
Thank you for holding. We sincerely appreciate your patience. Please stay on the line, and we'll be back in a moment.
Thanks for holding. We appreciate your time and patience. Please stay on the line and we'll be back in just a moment.
Thank you for waiting. Your patience is appreciated. Please hold the line and we'll be right back with you.
Thank you for holding. We look forward to talking with you soon. Please hold the line and we'll be right back with you.
Thanks for holding. We appreciate your time and patience. Please stay on the line and we'll be back in just a moment.
Thank you for holding. We sincerely appreciate your patience. Please stay on the line and we'll be back in a moment.
Thank you for holding. We look forward to talking with you soon. Please hold the line, and we'll be right back with you.
Thank you for waiting. Your patience is appreciated. Please hold the line and we'll be right back with you.
Thank you for holding. We sincerely appreciate your patience. Please stay on the line, and we'll be back in a moment.
Thanks for holding. We appreciate your time and patience. Please stay on the line and we'll be back in just a moment.
Thank you for waiting. Your patience is appreciated. Please hold the line, and we'll be right back with you.
Thank you for holding. We look forward to talking with you soon. Please hold the line and we'll be right back with you.
Thanks for holding. We appreciate your time and patience. Please stay on the line, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Thank you for holding. We sincerely appreciate your patience. Please stay on the line and we'll be back in a moment.
Thank you for holding. We look forward to talking with you soon. Please hold the line, and we'll be right back with you.
Thank you for waiting. Your patience is appreciated. Please hold the line and we'll be right back with you.
Just take a lively companion wherever you go. Take a portable radio. Take a portable radio.
Now, here comes the music.
And probably not quite as loud as it was because we've managed to fix the audio problem, I believe. You all let me know in the old chat room if it's still overly loud over the top of us, but I don't think it is because Joe saw the obvious thing that I didn't see, which was the ability to pay attention to what your audio inputs were. That's crazy stuff. That's on it. But anyway, hi everybody. We're here at Studio C. It's a Tuesday night. We're almost starting on time. It's really weird throwing everything off. For those of you wondering who the person in the Santa hat is, it's Kat Carlson, ladies and gentlemen. She looks very different tonight. She's Kat Carlson.
And I am a guy.
An actual, a bio man, a bio male. Wow, well, that's new for that chair.
It's the first time he's been called that.
Kat or Joe? Oh, there's that.
Okay.
So anyway, sitting in the...
I didn't say there was no bullying on the show.
Fair. That's completely fair.
It starts at 7:02.
Why would we start now after 5 years?
We fired the HR department
A long time ago.
We're
Exactly.
sorry.
I was the HR department.
For the and we fired you. So
You got to pay me overtime if I'm going to HR, though.
yeah,
I need time and a
yeah.
half for that.
Where I have to speak in Spanish. Either way, I'm
Yeah.
going to get paid more. So the Santa hat belongs to Joe DeGanzik. He's sitting here feeling good. He was going to be here anyway tonight, but earlier today, Kat Carlson let us know that she has illnesses of children and herself, flu or something. So we just like ixnay on the show up a.
Oh, yeah.
We're done with that.
People
She
that come
submitted
to
the
work
sick
or
leave form.
Yeah.
Anybody that comes to work that's not feeling well from something they caught from their kid is me getting the plague.
I gotcha. Yeah.
Like that is just
Reg-
straight up.
And that's
And when someone's like sitting there not feeling well, they're like, "Oh, I don't have any more sick time. My kid brought this home from school." I'm like, "Fuck me."
Just
Can you just take my
please-
sick time and leave,
Right. Can
please?
we just
Yeah.
gonna borrow it? Yeah.
Right.
Oh no, but I mean,
To
I'm
donate, yeah.
done from like one exposure, whatever those children. I guess because I have had no
And-
exposure to children my entire life.
And does that happen in spite of getting the flu shot?
Well, it's not the flu. They come home with every kind of possible fucking
Okay,
crud.
so it's not that. So
Yeah.
If only
regardless
there
of
was a cold shot.
Yeah, because it's usually.
well,
just,
yeah, I guess because there is no cold shot,
Right,
right?
exactly.
Right.
Yeah, that's just usually the crud.
Okay, got it.
But yeah, I mean, even with the flu shot, you can still get the flu. It's just that the possibility of it getting more severe is less.
Right, is
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
Because
minimal.
people die from that. Like that, it kind of gets blown over because everybody calls everything the flu, but the
Yeah.
real
But
flu,
the real flu,
kills people.
you don't want
like,
it.
That's
Well, I
fucking-
said that she had the flu. I don't know what she's got.
Yeah.
She's got some crap.
and she possibly could. And
Yes.
again, unless
Aaron, yes, I'm now louder than music, and you're welcome because you can apparently now hear me over the intro, which was really the goal all along, isn't it? Sitting across the table from Joe in his normal no hat at all, it's Al Perkins. He's here. So Marnie's out because of work and payroll, as always. Kat is ill, so it's just a boys' night out here in
We
Studio
have bottles
C.
of wine instead of Marnie.
No, well, it's all right.
Yeah.
Are you equating Marnie to a bottle of wine?
No, it
She's
is-
smooth,
that's-
easy on the palate, and lives in a bottle. What did you bring,
Those
by the
were-
way?
We have a lovely cupcake Pinot Grigio and a
Is Cupcake a brand? I can't
yes,
imagine.
yes,
Okay,
and a head snapper Sauvignon Blanc.
I don't know what the hell that even.
The
is.
labels were
All right.
pretty.
Yeah, well, okay, there's that, and Al's partaking with you, so that's good because I'm
That's
not
right.
I'm not a
Sorry.
wine person. I've
That's
no,
okay. We make up for it.
I'm chugging coffee like it's fucking going out of
There-
style.
There you go.
Oh, I just remembered the Will and Grace Christmas specials on tonight.
yes, and I thought it was a repeat, and I almost deleted it.
No.
and I was like, oh
No, God no.
So curious to see what they're gonna
how
do.
how they've done it. Anywho, so as you know from the new format, Joe,
Oh,
you've
Kat's
listened.
in the chat room.
Oh, hi, Kat. Cough, cough.
Hello, Kat.
For those of you who are
I'm keeping your chair
just
warm tonight.
listening, Kat is in the chat room with cough, 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 sniffle, snark, which oddly was a boy band in the '80s, if
Yeah.
I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
She's listening out there.
The middle one was gay.
Which sniffler sniffle was. the,
All right.
the sun's barely up, and look at the shade. Oh,
Now we're at bad drag show.
it's
banter.
it's who cares?
Banter.
It's all right. What we normally do is go around the table. What have you been doing? Typically we go from what have you been doing in the last week because.
Right, of
but
course,
I don't.
yes.
I don't really need a
You don't
diet.
need the entire.
Right.
Well, it is only no. I'm just It's only 7:05.
What have you done? What have you done lately?
Oh yeah, lately. Well,
You did just have it. You just got back in town. You were
I
in
did,
Cisco.
and I did. I was in. I got a lovely souvenir T-shirt from the HRC.
Funny how
store.
that's rainbow colors. I don't
oddly,
get the connection at all.
Right, something like that. With the Castro, it's fairly. In fact, I walked right in. We walked. First thing we saw in the Castro, getting off the little historic car line. Of course, someone who probably could have been in a gym a little bit more, but they weren't terrible. And someone who just was walking around with just a gold-colored sock on their appendage.
I didn't realize I was there the same weekend you were there.
Where was this at?
Castro.
At the Castro in San Francisco.
Oh, I mean, now it all makes
No,
sense.
sure.
Right. Yeah.
Sparkly wiggles on your.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. So I'm like,
Sir.
I had been. Long story short.
Too late.
I was God,
Next.
faster than me.
Where's-
Yeah.
Anyway,
If you've seen Clue, you knew that was coming. I mean,
I had been to San Francisco only once, about 20 years ago, with my former partner at the time, and really hadn't seen the city. It was a short trip. Just he was there for a work-related thing, and just it was more work for him and me somehow. But anyways, so it was time to finally actually go back and see the city. I had friends who lived there, so I could actually have like a tour guide, which was fantastic. But oddly enough, speaking of the sick thing and flu shots and whatever, so I had gotten a flu shot about a week and a half before leaving because I kept missing appointments at Walgreens. And then I think the stress of me getting ready to, get away, finish all the things before you go on vacation. And I got there and like the day after I woke up and I'm like scratchy throat and I'm just like, I don't need to be sick on vacation. And luckily it was just a mild kind of annoying cold. It wasn't like terrible. So it didn't ruin the experience, but I definitely want to
Gotcha.
go back. But had a great time. Got to see it was mostly a personal trip. I had booked it months ago, and there was some business stuff at the end of it that had been added on kind of late in the game. But yeah, I got to see the Castro, which I had never really seen the Castro and never really experienced some of San Francisco as like a gay adult. I was just like a gay newbie back like 20 years ago.
hadn't had your
Like
card
gay
punched yet.
Yeah. Not all of them. But anyways.
There is a full set,
I
ladies
get-
and
yes.
gentlemen. Yeah,
Nice.
Like-
Collect them all.
I have.
So, anyways, I got to
In 100 years,
see-
those cards are gonna be worth money.
Well,
right.
See first base. You know what I mean?
And so it was a wonderful trip. I got to see more than just San Francisco because I was also there for some meetings in Silicon Valley. Happened to, I guess, my friend, who I won't name, who lives in the city, his boyfriend works for Facebook. So I got a personal tour of Facebook.
does Russia actually have an office set in the building?
We
'Cause
didn't
that's-
see any Russian flags.
Is it an annex?
Yeah.
Like,
Is
And
it
they
like-
weren't sure
they share one
among the
cafeteria?
40 some odd restaurants that serve free food. I didn't see any Russian restaurants or
I'm
cafes.
sure.
But the pizza was pretty good.
Yeah.
That whole thing, all the rumors of just the campus looking like Disneyland and free food everywhere. It's the thing. It's unbelievable.
Okay.
Also was at the Google headquarters and also another great place that I had.
Another place where a Russian office could potentially
Yeah,
be.
exactly. Yeah, probably. And then also a place that I had been meaning to visit for a long time because I followed them for many, many years. And if you follow me on Facebook, you hear about probably at least once a week or so that I post something about SkyTran. I got to go to their headquarters as well, and it was a really awesome time. So overall, to make a long story short of the trip, great trip. And can't wait to go back and see the things that I haven't seen.
If I'm not mistaken, SkyTran, because I've followed your posts, and I know, and actually, you'll post anything to do with the train. I know you will.
Well, sure, yeah.
SkyTran is basically the monorail in the air, correct?
Yeah.
But rather than interrupting all the traffic below, like
Yep.
our light rail does,
Yep.
they build it atop basically one of the sidewalks on either side of the street, right? And it goes
Yep.
above everybody else.
And they're tiny little two-person vehicles, and it's all it's built like again, long story short. It's more like a freeway system so that the vehicles get off the main line to go to the station so they don't interrupt. So you go nonstop from point A to point B.
Do they have that in Cisco?
Not yet. Oddly enough, they're based right in Mountain View, California, but it is, without revealing too much information, it's been a long time in development. They've finally gotten a lot of their investment money, and we'll see first set. We'll see a first test system at. They're actually based at NASA Ames in just outside of Mountain View in California. Kennedy Space Center is divvying up their land, no longer used for like landing shuttles.
Yeah, we
and-
stopped that program. I don't know why, but we
Yeah.
did.
Yeah, exactly. So
Technology
Kennedy
science.
is divvying up that land, and so SkyTran's actually going to have some land over in Florida, and the first commercial, not commercial, but test systems that they can test all of this in a full scale system.
Oh,
that we built.
I'm
over
sorry.
there.
I thought there was already one in operation somewhere.
It's close. We're close. But,
Okay.
But when it does go, and when people actually see it, it's gonna be like, why are we doing anything else?
Oh.
So
I
I
would
can
like
talk people's ears off about it.
to see what we went through as Phoenix, and I know a lot of other cities, they were born with it, or they did it 30 or 50 years ago, and they
Oh,
put it
yeah.
in their train systems. I would love to see it not interrupt traffic flow like it does now.
Yeah.
That drives me nuts.
And the
A turn-
construction
the turn left, the construction
of
was horrible.
building it, yeah.
Right, but the turn left, if you're to have to turn left off of Central,
Forget
you
it.
might as well just wait.
Yeah.
I mean, just shut your car off and
Go
sit
home.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's just ridiculous.
Pick a different
stuff.
activity.
Exactly. Go
Yeah.
somewhere else.
Yeah.
But okay, so you saw that. You saw the
Saw that.
Castro. You know, one of the things I do, I want to go back because only a year ago, September was my first trip to Cisco. We did the walking tour through Castro. I
Hmm.
learned about all of that. Saw things I'd never seen before, just as far as buildings and parks and so forth. But the trolley car system does fascinate me, and I want to
Yeah.
go back and learn more about that.
The one thing I'll add about that, the older ones, they launched that in the 80s, and they took old trolley cars from other cities and some from San Francisco's old system, and they combined it into this new, they call it the F-car line in San Francisco. And it along with Muni and all the other things serves it. But and again, they're like every 7 or 8 minutes. Lots of transit. I mean, it's a little bit overwhelming even for me, because I'm like, all right, if I get on this, does it take me
Well,
out
it's
of the
an
city?
actual city. It's like
well,
it's the
a
only
real city. Yes.
Yeah,
it's not
people
this
from the east
light
say it's
rail
the
thing.
only real East Coast city in the West.
in the West. No,
Okay.
I-
Because it's planned and plotted out, and like New York, like you can go there 8 different times and have 8 different
8
vacations.
different experiences. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
like I went there for years and years since the early '90s, and like did the gay stuff, did the Castro stuff, did Union or whatever that is, and the
Oh, yeah.
shopping.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then
yeah.
all of a sudden one day I realized I had never done anything like with that waterfront thing.
Right.
Oh.
You
My
know what I mean?
hotel, the end of the trip, with the business side, we were in a hotel right near Fisherman's Wharf. So did the whole Embarcadero and saw
Oh yeah,
half of the Bay
I've
Bridge.
been there for
and-
like 8 or 9 times before I was like, oh yeah, but there was something about an Embarcadero or something about a wharf or a pier, and then finally went down and did all that stuff. I had never been to Ghirardelli like
Yeah.
ever,
Oh,
and all
yeah.
the times I'd been there, people are like, oh, did you bring me back chocolate? I'm like, why?
Why would I bring-
Why?
why
would I do
went
that?
to a
Yeah,
gay
right.
bar. Ugh. Like, is that a metaphor?
Those aren't mints.
Yeah,
well, we know you like the
I
darker.
know they're round.
Yeah, he does like the dark chocolate.
That's what I
Aldo.
was gonna say.
mean,
That
it was,
yeah,
it was weird. So when I finally started doing that, and I was like, oh, this is like a whole different
San Francisco.
a whole different San Francisco and North Beach. I guess that's an experience. I'm not sure how I describe that to my therapist. But then like the circle tour is another thing. Like when you go on trips to do the circle tour, however, whatever gets you onto the water and like looking at the waterfront properties. Like New York does it, Chicago does one. You can do the architecture tour down the Michigan River.
Oh yeah.
Or I mean Lake Michigan or the Chicago River. You can there's one on Lake Michigan. There's one on the Chicago River. That's the architecture tour. But in San Francisco you can go around, and that way you don't actually have to go to Alcatraz, because who wants to go to a dirty old prison on an
Right.
abandoned island
They seem
that's a
to do it
Native
on-
American graveyard?
plenty
Like
of
they ain't selling
ferries.
it right. So but
How would you like to sell it?
I think I just did.
Okay.
That's what I would say on there.
Oh.
In that tone. It'd be like a push and play.
$9.99.
Serves
Serves.
for
But if you do that, you can go underneath the
Golden Gate.
Golden Gate Bridge. You can go around the island. You can see downtown. You get a little bit of history of like when it was built, what's after the earthquake, all of it.
Yeah, exactly. Everything you see here was
Yeah.
built.
Except
that
for what
blade
was
of
it, the
grass.
the St. Francis Hotel that one survived. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's kind of it's one of those cities that you can. No, it doesn't matter how many times you go there, you're still gonna do something else. A couple years ago, I went to New York City, turned one corner, and I spent a whole weekend at Lincoln Center, and I'm like, well, this block is its own vacation. Like, there's just all kinds of cities like that, and it's fun. So keep going back.
I fully intend to, and
Well,
with the announcement I'll probably make in another couple minutes, it may be more convenient soon.
Well, I was just about to ask you a question, but I think I better wait on that based on
what,
your.
what was the question?
Oh, isn't the rumor that you're moving there?
Well, God, Babe asked me that this morning.
Well, she didn't text me. I just thought I'd read. I think I'd read that in one of your posts,
All right,
or that you
I'll
were
say it
talking.
and I wanted to come on the show. I mean, because I like to come see you guys, but I will use your global audience platform. Because I know
Both
there's
people
so
listen
many,
up.
so many. So I'll start here, and eventually I'll put it on Facebook. So the plan is, it may, you know,
Write this down. So I
plans
know.
always fall through, but
Wow.
you never know. So the plan is at this point that I will be leaving Phoenix and relocating to Portland, Oregon, in the first 6 months of 2018.
Okay.
I hope.
Have you made Portland aware of this?
Not entirely.
Okay, well, I'm going to send
Portland,
send
they
note
need to be
Portland.
warned.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Yeah, let them know. Did you buy flannel? Have you purchased yet a lot of flannel?
Not as
Oh,
yet.
my
no.
bad. Not
But-
going as a lesbian,
Oh,
so
right,
maybe you'll be
well,
fine.
right. Yep. Yeah.
I think you still have to wear the plaid.
Oh,
though.
do you?
I think once you pass like Lake Shasta
know, but
going north,
It's just
It
I
becomes
was
de
there in
rigueur.
the winter a couple years ago. I
can
don't
keep the
remember
hat.
that many flannel.
don't make fun of my stereotypes.
I did. I said he could keep the hat.
I meant him.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm not making fun of it. I just said I didn't.
You
see
were
that
looking
many.
at me when you said it. I'm terribly sorry to have assumed that.
Don't disparage my stereotypes.
God, this
They're
comments
all
good.
serial killers and they're all wearing plaid.
That's right, Cat.
The
Breaking
American
news.
Northwest in 2 sentences.
Depression.
Give me your
death.
tour. Give me your tour headphones at the end. That was it.
And it was
Explore on your own.
it's been sort of a difficult decision between like Seattle and Portland, but it for me it's more of where do I go that I have the more connections with people, that who do you call when
Ghostbusters, apparently.
well apparently yeah, but it is one of the when you move away from your hometown and you think about okay you're in trouble or there's something has gone wrong, who can you call at 2 a.m. that you just need to talk, that who's gonna pick up the phone even though no one calls each other these days, but those it's important to have some connections, and I have a few in Seattle, but the stronger connections happen to be in Portland.
Okay.
So I'm
now
like
follow-up question on the move.
okay.
Because I know you are a carless person anymore. You ride your bike a lot. How long do you think it's going to take you to pedal to Portland?
Well, that could be some time.
Now, if a bird starts
Start if a train leaves
Yeah.
before the other train.
and the bird
I'm
has
sure
a
we-
car,
right.
Ooh, I didn't factor that in.
Parakeet Express.
Carry the 3.
Right. I'm
Square
sure we can
root.
ask dear Google.
God, yes. So no,
what Kat would say.
So obviously, how does one? You don't have a car, so obviously you have nothing to
Yeah.
pack stuff up and take it with you.
I'm thinking, that they have those services like, pods. You have
No.
them drop off one of those things,
Sure.
you fill it up, and then they just take it to your final destination,
absolutely.
and then you fly or something
and it's
like
kind
that.
it's kind of good because you've scaled back, right? So you're
Oh,
kind of
seriously.
more portable.
Probably will scale back even some more.
So the
but-
pod could probably be like a suitcase, maybe by the time you're done.
No, but I mean it's easy to manage. That you could
Oh.
rent a pod or
Right.
a small U-Haul and drive. I mean, you still have your driver's license, right?
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shh, just between us.
Yeah, right, yeah.
In the insurance.
It is. It's been an
Wink if you're
interesting thing.
kidding.
I mean, I haven't, aside from when I was doing Lyft with one of their rentals earlier this year, I haven't had a car for a year and a half.
Yeah.
It's sort of. I took many tangents in my conversation with Babe this morning at breakfast, but I'm kind of like starting to feel like I don't want the stress of kind of owning a car.
He's
or
almost
leasing
he's
and-
almost there. He's
and-
thought it 100 times.
and just dealing with the insurance and when I don't want to take over the whole show, but
It's too late.
briefly
You were drinking. I had time.
Yeah.
briefly with when I was driving for Lyft earlier this year, I was actually in an accident. It was in a hit and run. I didn't post this on Facebook because I didn't want all the people saying, "Oh my gosh, are you okay?" There were no injuries. There was nothing. But I was in one of their rental vehicles that you can do with Lyft and Uber. But still, if you're in an accident, it's not your fault. They don't find the guy. You're still out the deductible. So, and this was during the beginning of March, where spring training, I expected to make a lot of money. I basically made almost zero that month because I was without a car for 2.5 weeks.
Oh, they don't even give you another car?
Oh, yes, they do, but Lyft is incompetent because both companies are growing so fast. Their customer service for both passengers and drivers is terrible, and there's no phone number. You can even drivers do not have a phone number if there's an emergency or emergency, yes, but for other support for drivers, no phone number to call if there's a serious problem. So I had to go get my own police report. I had to go do all this back work just to prove to them beyond the shadow of a doubt that, yes, I was not at fault, even though the initial report from DPS said you're not at fault. And the witnesses, as in passengers who were on their way to their 25th wedding anniversary and blah, that got interrupted. Anyways, it was luckily no injuries. The car was, not drivable fully, but anyways, still out $1,000 as a deductible, and yet
Jeez.
and yet I compare it with, I have a membership to Zipcar, which is that on-demand kind of car sharing service. Zipcar has a tiny membership fee for the year, but then a monthly waiver of $10 that you can pay. So that if you drive the car into the Grand Canyon, you walk away. $10 a month versus $1,000 deductible for another type of rental car that I'm making money for them.
Aren't Zip cars the smart car? Aren't they all smart? The small ones? Oh, they're not.
No, they're all just you can pick random cars as you need them.
The only ones I've ever seen of those were in Denver, and they were all little smart cars.
It might have been Car2Go.
My bad. You are correct.
They're here too, right?
To my Car2Go,
I don't think
No,
either
Zipcar.
one of those. I don't think they're here yet.
No, Zipcar's here.
They are
Zipcar's
here.
I use it all the time.
I did not realize they'd come in.
$7.50 an hour, gas and insurance included. God,
Oh
you
my
can't-
God.
You can't beat it. Oh, I love it. It's my savior.
Please excuse me. I'm going to sell my car.
All right, thank you.
Please excuse
I'm
me.
like, holy cow.
It's when I have a whole bunch of errands to run, because if you take Lyft and Uber enough, you pay by the trip. With Zipcar, you pay by the hour. So as much
Right,
stuff
so
that you can fit into a couple hours.
You could knock out multiple trips.
Oh, yeah.
And pay $14
Yep.
if you basically.
Yeah.
Oh my
go
god.
to the store, you fill up. And when I need to make a really big grocery run,
I
Zipcar. And they're right downtown.
make a note of
They're
that in
right
my
at.
pad.
My god. I didn't realize Zipcar was here. I knew Car2Go wasn't here because I got the app for when
Yep.
I'm in Denver.
There's about 5 or 6 pickup locations. You have to pick up and drop off at the same location, but there's one downtown. There's 2 downtown. There's one at GCU.
Oh, that is a big difference because Car2Go.
You can drop
I know
off
this is
anywhere.
stimulating radio for everybody, but Car2Go.
You're learning something.
Car2Go though, you drop off
Correct.
anywhere within their
That's right.
zone,
And
so
I
it doesn't
think-
matter where you live.
I think Car2Go is up in. I know they're up in Seattle. I believe they're also up in
But
Portland. so-
Zipcar, you have to return it to the same.
Yes.
Yeah, like the bikes.
Okay.
Actually,
Well,
the bikes. I think
grid
you can
bikes-
drop off. You can drop off anywhere.
Any one of their bike racks.
Oh, you can't drop it off at any one of the locations. You have to drop it up at the same place you picked it up.
Wait, Zipcar or the bike thing?
This is the car.
The Zipcar.
Oh, the bike. The bike I know. 'Cause
Yeah, the Zipcar you do have to
They're
drop off
everywhere.
at the same location,
I've
which
taken-
can be a
I've
bummer. But
taken an
it's
Uber
okay.
somewhere and decided I wanted to ride a bike home and picked up the Zip bike and pedaled home and then was like, now what?
What do I do with
Hey,
this?
Now
what do
I
I,
got-
what
now
do
I
I
got
do with the
this
damn
thing.
thing, right? Yeah. So there's one at the Zipcar location I use is at 3rd Street in
Kat
Roosevelt.
just called this the I Don't Own a Car show. Yes. It's the only car show on Q Talk America.
right.
Right
Well, there
now.
was one at one point, and then it got canceled.
I
but
went
anyways.
now.
Yeah. As the rest of the network was canceled when I gave up, but and Clayton was so kind to take over. And
Yeah.
Purchase a few things.
My evil plan taking over. Alfie, I'm assuming work is
I'll shut up
probably
now.
part of this.
It's 16,000 movies, which we'll talk about in entertainment because
Yes.
it's officially Oscar season December 1st. So we've ramped up. And then yesterday I did like a double wardrobe malfunction. I decided to go
It's on a Monday.
Exactly. We did the double Janet Jackson. Went to the gym and had put some new music on my exercise mix and
Okay.
was really just having a terrific time listening to music and hopping from different machines and doing some stretching. And I watched this hot guy do something crazy with weights, and I was like, well, I'm not going to do that
Ooh.
in public, but I will go home.
Maybe I
and
need to rejoin
see-
that gym.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's some hot ass men
Mm.
there. And but it really was just good music, so
Add
I
that to
ended
the
up
to-do
doing
list.
stuff. And then like after sitting on the couch for 6 days and being ambulatory for the first time, I decided to run. Like it's
To
been,
the kitchen?
It's been 20 years since I have
Write
run in
that
place
down.
even, let alone
Someone write down
So,
7:24.
I didn't even run when
PM.
there was an active shooter in the corridor in New Orleans. I walked briskly and saved my drink.
You walked outside, or you ran outside?
No, I ran on the treadmill.
Oh, on the
like,
treadmill.
Just complete assholery,
Okay.
right?
Wow.
But it was a
And
ter-
you at one point on one of the shows said gay people ran. So now you're
Again,
running.
Totally.
It's been decades since the attempt was even made. I don't
Okay.
know what got into me.
But congratulations.
So, no.
Or not. Okay.
Don't encourage that. We don't want to see that happen again.
Okay.
I didn't have to see it.
So then the water
Is
store
there a
was right next
video?
door, so I had water jugs to take over and fill up. So I was like feeling good, looking great. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The music was just terrific.
Sure.
It was just motivating. So I'm filling up the water jugs 2 at a time, carrying them back to the car. And all of a sudden, like, I didn't go in because the guy that owns the water store wasn't there. So I was like, there's nobody to chat with. So I usually say hi to him and congratulate him on keeping his little business open,
Oh, I'm sure.
despite all the odds.
Sure he loves
And
you being there for
yeah,
that.
he really does. I don't think he understands a word I say. Talking to him in Spanish. I think he's Korean.
There's
a
that.
whole thing.
Okay.
So I
International.
don't go in. So somebody opens the door, and I like turn to smile and greet them, and realize that the tree sheet I'm wearing is completely soaked and see-through. But of course, I looked down and I'm like, oh my God, who would wear that? I'm like, oh my God, it's my reflection. Realize, like, I'm just in a wet t-shirt concert. That's Titsy McGee here. It was disgusting. And I'm like singing along with the radio and filling the water. You know what I mean?
Who's the bald woman?
God.
Who's the
It was
bald lady
awful.
singing?
It was awful.
Wow.
So then I go and I like run to my trunk 'cause I know I have scrub top back there, so I throw on a scrub top over the not taking off the t-shirt because it might
Why would
reveal
you know?
something.
Well,
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Throw the scrubs on, and then I'm all annoyed, and I'm like, well, now I don't want to go home because I wanted to go to the grocery store, and I left my glasses at work, so I had to go into the
You could
building.
have run to the grocery store.
So I'm like, well, there's scrub pants on the thing too. I'll just throw them on too, and like run into the building, grab my glasses, run out. But it's like a 30-mile walk from anywhere you can park to that goddamn hospital because that campus is 17 miles wide. So do all that, and I'm like, you know what, fuck, I can go to the grocery store like this too. Like dripping sweat from a t-shirt down the front
Wow.
of light blue scrubs. So it looked like I was actively peeing myself. It was pretty. It was a
Were
really
you at the
pretty day.
single girl Safeway? Is that where you went?
No, luckily I was at the married busy people Safeway, but it was
Oh.
packed.
The mini one.
I mean, I'm sure no one was really noticing that there was like a little bit of like
But
voice,
you-
but
you-
I could
right.
not see it.
You knew it. That's
But
all.
it
That's
was
all. You knew it.
just it was like looking at somebody and you know there's those long t-shirts that have like a bikini body on it that would be kind of funny.
Yeah.
That's what I thought I was looking at because I'm like, oh no, that.
Maybe other people thought that's what they were looking at too, and they didn't realize it was you.
I apologize to everyone in the vicinity of 17th Avenue and Camelback last night. Children may have been hurt. I'm not sure.
this was very recent.
and close, sadly.
Nearby.
Neighbors might have seen you.
Oh, it's unfortunate. I mean, I guess I'll take your therapist bill. See what I can contribute.
You need one of those pens like they had in Men in Black where you could just blank their memory. That would be good
But
for
it was
people.
kind of
Yeah,
cool.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
when I got out of the gym, I didn't think of it because it's been so chilly that when I walked
You just
out,
thought it was breezy.
yeah.
Cool,
So I
right,
just thought
right.
nothing of it, and then I was like, oh my god, it was mortifying. But the fact that I was like, oh fuck it, just throw scrubs over it and continue. No one cares. I'm like, what if someone talks to me? I must stink. Like if I'm this wet.
That's your never say die attitude. I'm going to bring up a little hint for you. On the glasses front, might you get a second or third pair and like keep it at home?
Yeah, that's what I've decided. I think I'm gonna get a cheapy pair and keep them at work.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Do you
This-
do you get them from where do you get your glasses from?
This place.
Oh,
But well,
whatever that place is.
What's it called?
Something.com.
It was like
that actually, I'm going to ask you another question. in a minute.
110 West Camelback. It's called some combination.
Camelback Eyeworks.
All of those.
Oh.
work.
Yes, because
That whole
I
thing.
almost went to
Maybe
them.
include Vision in there.
I think that's part of it.
Right, I know.
I like their Facebook page. I almost went there.
I know it's 110.
Do
now.
you buy your glasses on .coms?
ZennyOptical.com is this and these and another one and
Zenny.
Zenny.
Z-N.
ZENNI optical.com. You upload the prescription. They even have a little thing you upload your face. They'll match the size of the
Upload
glasses.
your face like you just scan.
Yeah, to
what-
Facebook.
like-
No, upload a selfie. They'll actually take the glasses and actually
Like
put them
flat
on your
bob.
face and so you can see what they'll look like. And
Okay,
Very
now,
inexpensive. Very
do
reasonable.
you again stimulating to everybody listening? Do you have progressive bifocals by any odd
Think of
chance?
all you could do if you two ever just talked in person and solved all these problems. Where'd you get your glasses?
That's why
we
I
have to
come on
save
the
it
show.
for organic show material. That's what we do. We're
They-
gonna teach. We're gonna learn people something. We're gonna learn them all out there how to get cheap glasses.
They will do progressives, yeah.
Because that was my biggest apprehension.
yeah.
If it was just a standard prescription,
Yeah, they'll do
but
like everything.
But the progression, what I'm concerned about is where in the lens they start the progression. Because the current pair,
Is-
though I was measured for it, it's too high.
Okay.
So to get clear to when I drive to see road signs, I have to look through the very top of my glasses.
Okay. Well, I mean, you can always, send them an email and ask them certain
Hey,
questions.
can you make this?
Right. Yes, it's custom. I haven't done a progressive.
What are Zenny's costs?
These
typically?
were, let's see, this is a kind of a high prescription because these are for my reading. This was, I think, $40 delivered.
Shut up. That's fantastic.
These were maybe like 20 because it's a tiny prescription.
Oh.
And these are so cheap. You can get new ones every year. They've got new styles all the time.
You could have glasses laying everywhere, and it wouldn't be a big deal.
I can
And they've
barely
got-
keep track of the one.
I know, but if you had multiple, do it with a tracking device.
I was just gonna say. So now you want me to lose 4 things?
Well, there's an advertisement for thetracker.com with a Bluetooth operated.
Maybe you get Bluetooth glasses, or just start hanging your car keys on your glasses.
So, Because I spent half my life looking for those motherfuckers. Now they're lost with the keys.
Oh my
I like
God.
it when somebody asks you to find your phone and you're texting them, I'm looking for my phone, and you're walking around
I
looking
know.
for it.
I do that oddly.
What are you texting
often.
me on?
Like,
I've
iPhone.
I've actually done that while talking. Like, why
Where's
aren't
my
you in the
phone?
car? Because I can't find my motherfucking phone. I got it. Now.
Gonna be fine.
Gonna
now.
be fine.
Yeah.
but they I originally was going to use Warby Parker, which is a lot more
Another
less
brand.
expensive than most, but more expensive than these guys. And a coworker at the previous institution I worked for had recommended them, and they have. I mean, these are plastic, but they have metal styles and.
May
many
I
more-
see those?
Absolutely. But
Yeah, I think-
they've got a lot.
It's good to see clear lenses. Mine
And
have
they
got
ship
a-
them with a nice little hard case and the cleaning cloth and the whole little thing.
If
and-
they're going to ship hard, I'm already
I
on
am-
board
yeah,
with this. This is going to be good. If
So
you're-
what did you do, Clayton?
What did you do this week? Do you need new glasses?
Actually, well, a couple weeks ago, I did go get a vision test, and I was and yeah, though minuscule, my prescription changed a little bit. But the doctor's even like, I wouldn't even bother. He goes, unless you just need new glasses, period. And my big thing is, I think that over 3-4 years, there are just a lot of micro scratches on it, so I get it's a little
Yeah.
glary.
Sure.
But clearly it helps the vision. But I'm just been debating where I'm going to get
And
it
sometimes
from.
I find if I clean the inside of my windshield,
That's a different thing.
that's part of my vision problem.
Yeah. What? God, it's so,
What is that? Is that just like
from the-
CO2?
it's from the plastic of. I find that it's a lot from you because you keep buying new cars, which is fine.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
in the heat out here, there is a whatever that comes off of plastic and the interiors
I
of
think
your
I'm
car.
looking for the actual name of the whatever.
Whatever
Yeah.
that film is, it just coats the inside of it. But yeah, because I've been in your car before too, and I'm like, God, it's so hazy. No, it's not hazy outside
Yep.
at all.
It's actually a beautiful
It's
day.
a beautiful day
It's just-
outside of this car.
A friend of mine who tried to convince me it was like your breath. I'm like, why would your breath cause your windshield to
Okay,
get
if
Well,
wet?
you
that's what I
have
thought.
a-
Is like,
That's-
am I
that
exhaling
sounds-
toxic
I know.
CO2?
It
If
sounds
you
like
have a
that. I
friend
don't
who
even
believes
smoke,
that
you know?
that's breath,
He has other challenges.
I'd get it. Okay.
He doesn't listen to the show.
Sounds
thank
like
goodness,
breath
but-
is a challenge. For
I mean, I was about to start the sentence. Is it exhaled CO2?
No,
Like, is
no,
that
no.
where that hydrogen bonds
I
to?
would-
Well,
no, I
Not
believe
to
it's.
turn this into a science
I
show.
would agree more with you with the plastics and the heat. Yeah.
So yes, it's a film that just radiates
Yeah.
coming out of brand new plastic because you've never had a car more than 4 years old.
5 years.
Okay, well then there's that. But I bet the film on
Almost 5 years.
the inside of the 5-year-old car was less than the new car.
And isn't it amazing how and they never reveal their little secrets that the car wash places, like, you can only get your windshield like perfectly clean by them, and then if you ask them, they're like, oh no, we can't give you the info on where we get this special magic cleaner stuff.
All right, we're
that-
not talking about windshield wiper cleaners. I got to just
no,
show
no,
this
we're talking
now.
about
just the
I know,
little
but this is going
rag-
off on a dangerous.
No, I just a 15-second tangent of just they use special cloths and the special spray or whatever that you can't buy at the store, because I've tried and I always
I
fail.
think
but-
based on the dating pool that I used
I
to
just got to
have,
hit the button before we can start talking about windshield wiper fluid.
everybody needs it. He's talking about on the inside of the windshield.
Yeah, I'm just when they
Not
when
exterior.
they clean
No,
it
either way.
professionally, they always can do a much better job
Oh,
than I
absolutely.
can. And I'm just
Absolutely.
like,
Well, I'm
I wanna buy
exhausted
that
when I'm
stuff.
done cleaning my car. I prefer that somebody else do it. Here's $13.
Right,
Knock
you take
yourself
care
out.
of it. Los
Thank you.
Olivos,
Yes.
thanks. $6.
Either, I've never been to Los Olivos. Some-
$6
someday I will.
Express exterior wash. You can't beat it.
What else have I done? I cleaned out stuff. I've decided that I'm getting in. I'm going to get into the Bootsy Limon because I read up on it and it makes a lot more sense. I'm going to try really hard to do the the Denmark death cleaning. What was it?
Oh, I was like, does he have a special?
Oh,
like,
the Swedish death
Swedish
cleaning?
death cleaning.
what is that?
And it
It's
makes
an
sense.
Ingmar Bergman movie.
Swedish death cleaning is
Okay.
the thought of at some point you're going to die, and
Yeah,
would-
maybe I should do it before
like-
I
like-
move.
exactly.
Well, you are actually. That is actually what you were
It's
describing.
clearly yeah, because what happens? When you pass on, do you leave all of this shit for somebody else to deal with, or
yeah.
do you really wean down what you don't need, crap that you little tchotchkes and crap you don't really need? Get rid of all that shit. Give it away. Set it on fire. Whatever the fuck you're gonna do. Clean it out so you minimize what you have. Minimize what you have.
Minimalize would have been right. Too.
Was that still right? It just felt weird.
Yeah,
Don't know
it did.
why.
Whichever.
So you clean out all your stuff so that people have less to deal with when you go. Well, Bootsy has been cleaning out everything. And I bet you right now there's probably like a box of toothpicks and a lamp in his house because he's cleaned out everything.
But I mean, there's a little bit of psychological torture involved in that too, because you really have to, Like
You have to wrestle with.
Yeah, you got to really say your goodbyes to stuff, and that's not easy.
I mean, some people
I don't-
say,
I don't
if
hold
you
on to
haven't
anything, and I
seen
would find that
something or
hard.
used something in several years, just get rid of it. I have stuff that I have in storage because, as you well know, because you must see my tiny little house, it's like playing Tetris anytime I bring anything home.
Yeah, you can't buy a box of matches and
no,
bring it home with
I
you.
can't because it has to have
Where
a
is it
special
gonna
little
go?
place. Yeah, exactly.
That's the
So, I mean,
second match reference. I didn't realize.
I have some stuff in storage, stuff that I do want to hold on to, but it's like I downsized when I moved into that place. And if I remember from previous episodes, you used to get things donated to you from Bootsy.
Oh, still do.
Right,
I
'cause
made a big coup when he cleaned out a
He's
lot of stuff.
transferring. He's
And,
transferring
Todd
things
says you
from.
clean out your stuff and take random shit over to Clayton.
That's right.
That's why I like that Clayton's going to be
Hello?
the Swedish person
Yeah.
in this story.
Well, Todd
You'll-
can say
you'll-
all he wants, but when Todd needed a vacuum and he lived here, who did you call? I had your back.
Kidding. I thought it was to get embarrassing stuff you have that you don't want your parents or children to find after you die.
That's a whole separate.
That's a different cleaning.
Yes.
How many people have lived here? It's like a bed and
That's
breakfast.
somewhere
you know?
between the Swedish
Oh, I've cleaned those
cleaning
people out.
Well,
and what I like to call, do you want to throw this shit away or do you want your relatives to throw it away after you die? How do you want the stuff to make it to the garbage?
Well, Carlton and I have already had the conversation of listen. When I exit, already got keys to this house. You get here quick because you already know where all my stuff is. Because I have so much.
Right,
Nothing.
and I have a random box of DVD porn
Yeah.
that at some point is going to become a museum exhibit.
I
I mean,
have- I
pretty
have-
soon I'm going to have a docent.
I still have VHS porn that I was given because when Miggy,
I did get rid of that.
When
Wow.
when Mike Bowman
Yeah, you
died.
loaned that to me, and I remember you gave
Oh,
me
I
that,
did.
yeah.
Yes.
And I mean, I watched like 40 minutes of the Flintstones having sex on VHS, and I'm like, it's still just sex. Watch it out. You know what I mean? Like,
not
there's
better.
nothing different.
so it was a gay sex documentary.
Slot A, flat B, all the same. We're building a box,
You
people.
build that IKEA suitcase the same way every fucking time. I mean, there's a couple twists and turns, but the
Yeah.
ending's pretty much the
Well,
same.
the delivery services are different from
yeah,
old porn.
sure,
Yeah, that's it.
sure.
Yeah.
Someone else carrying the meat. I mean, however you want to call it.
The
But-
trucks actually said Federal Express, not FedEx, so it's old. Very old. Very old stuff.
I saw what Brown could do for me. It's UPS.
Or to you.
Yeah.
Either way, I see. So really, there's really not been much else that I've done this week. I feel like I've worked on cleaning some stuff out. Finally, the weather has changed, so it's been just lovely.
It's cold.
No, it's not cold. It's finally
it's
lovely.
pleasant. I mean, definitely during the day. A little. I mean, I was riding my bike earlier this
And
morning.
it's still above where
So
norm.
if you people are using words like pleasant and cold, I'm fucking freezing.
I know you are.
I've got like 7 layers on.
Right. You two, like, he's got that fucking hat's got to be hot, and he's got a hoodie, and you're in layers. Huh, I'm dying in here.
Yeah, with a sweatshirt ready for backup.
I mean, this is just a t. This is just a short sleeve T-shirt. So
and I've been trying to get the heat to come out of my house all day, and it
Still.
won't fucking do it.
An interesting look.
Because
HR.
my house is at a temperature today that I do not find livable. 66 is not
And if you touch anything, it just pulls the heat out of your body.
Oh,
like
yeah.
if you, yeah.
And it's already the Stone Cold Palace. Well,
Yeah.
now it's at like unlivable, unsurvivable as far as I'm concerned.
I woke up
For a
couple
lady without a fireplace.
couple years ago, before I got the new bed with the headboard, I had no headboard. So the wall was the headboard for many years. And at one point in the wintertime, I had rolled over in sleep or whatever, and my hand went against the wall. And like however long I was laying there, and I woke up because my arm had died because all of the heat had been sucked out of my arm, and my hand was just frozen.
We
So-
both live in cinder block houses.
Houses,
yeah,
right.
built in the 40s.
exactly.
With some ice. That's why I call it the Stone Cold Palace, because those stones, those cinder blocks,
They hold
are
it.
fucking freezing.
They hold it. Hold that cold.
Yeah, the Valley Forge of the West. She's back.
The what? I'm sorry. What'd you say?
The Valley Forge of the West, as I call it.
Oh, your house.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Stone Cold Palace, Valley Forge of
I
the
got
West.
lost for some
Because there's a
reason.
breeze. Like we,
Right. Something's
I mean, we
blowing.
burnt the sage. We haven't had the midget over to take a look and see if it's possessed, but because there's a strong fucking wind coming through the house.
You have a service midget?
For
We
you know,
can. Not everybody.
paranormal
Okay.
activity.
Not everybody has a service midget, but we can get one. I mean, it's not like
She only works in the paranormal.
I see.
She can't reach a lot of stuff.
Okay. I think that's enough for that segment. Let's move on to this one.
Obsession. Are you obsessed? Is it keeping you up at night? Do you find yourself constantly making references only to be met with blank stares? Obsession. This segment is for you. Obsession. Whether it's musicals, mowers, Motown, Subarus, or Sondheim, it's time to share your obsession with the show with Clayton McKee.
My nut basket.
Wow, that's a way to come
you're
back.
What?
My nut basket.
Oh my heavens! Hot mic. Wow. Al has snacks in front of him. One of them is full of nuts.
We're trading. Well, not nuts, but
So, true to form, and that was Kat Carlson giving us our intro. Obsession meaning something that maybe in the past week has been a little more on your mind rather than other things or at other times. Joe, do you have something that maybe has been a little bit more highlighted in your just maybe even 48 hours of late, recent?
sort of. I not really. I can just make like a. I don't know. I can just talk about what's been on my mind, ish. Sort of.
If that is an obsession of yours.
Okay. So I due to a lot of stress.
There are minimal rules on this show, so I don't think you're gonna get.
I had like the whole rule book,
Oh,
and I was
yeah.
trying to play along. Anyways,
We burned it with the HR department.
yeah, exactly. It's been an obsession in. Actually, here it is. So it's been an obsession in. You should not work yourself to death because you just made a decision to try to not work yourself to death. So, again, if you don't follow me online, then you wouldn't know this. But anyhow. I have temporarily put my. If you don't know what I do online, I run a YouTube channel and a website all about the smart home and all the gadgets from Amazon's Alexa device and all the Echo things. Trust me, I get hate mail from my viewers saying, "Don't set off our devices," so I have to call it like Lady A instead of Alexa.
Oh, I didn't think about that. If they're watching it and they hear it,
yeah, it'll set off all the device. You don't
Gotcha.
say okay. You have to say okay search engine because God knows if you say okay.
Google.
Yep. So we should probably just set off everyone's devices.
fuck
So,
'em.
Sorry. But
Okay.
anyways, so I
In
put
Nairobi, Kenya, I don't think they've got a Google device that
Probably
they're
not.
listening to us
Yeah.
on. So
maybe a
you never know.
pirate version
might.
of it.
You
But,
never. Is she in? If she
but maybe
Yeah, she's
maybe
in there.
but
Gotcha.
maybe
Hi.
Aaron or Todd or anyways.
Anybody.
So anyways, I had put my show on hold. It was a lot of stress that I was dealing with of, just the constant need to produce something new eventually just kind of wears you out creatively. And I was working myself to death on Thanksgiving and on the early part of Black Friday to produce, the holiday gift guide. And I finally said, it's time to fix this whole thing. So anyways, I did that. But then almost immediately afterward, I had been starting to be courted by a former employer who I swore that I would never
I
work.
thought this was going, but great, gotcha.
Wish I'd been like courted by a really cute
I
guy
haven't heard
or
anybody
anything.
use the
but-
word courted in a while. That was.
Yeah.
Were you going back to 1940? What the hell was that?
Right.
I'd like
Would
to
have
be
been
courted.
better if it was a really cute guy, but it wasn't. And the guy who runs the company is definitely not my type at all. And he's straight. But whatever. Although that's not necessarily a problem, but you can
Sausage.
take care of that. But and I thought about it. I said, okay, for the first time in a long time, on another tangent that I won't go down, I'm able to pay my bills for the first time in about 2.5 years because of some good opportunities that came of the YouTube channel this summer. And so I said to myself, okay, sure, some extra money would be nice. Maybe pay down the credit cards that have built up because, you run a business, you build up some debt. But I said, you're working, you do the YouTube thing. You've done that. You've decided to kind of put that on hold for a little while. You're working now part-time for another company in the smart home world, which is a great thing. I'm helping them with they're going to be at CES in January in Vegas, so I'm going to be at CES in January in Vegas, and I have all that to think about. Why am I even entertaining taking on even more work when I have a habit of potentially trying to always work myself to death.
Yeah.
And I just said, you have to just slow it down. It's December. I had told myself, again, probably being the last fall I was going to be here as a resident, I said, don't miss the fall. Like, you purposely do some work. You can make your bills. You should be happy and satisfied with that and make time for your friends and do fun holiday things. And so I also kind of said, yeah, you know what? I'm going to turn it down. And if they want me to do something maybe next year and there's some kind of contract thing that they want me to do for them, great. But right now, just turn it down and say no. And so I officially did that yesterday.
Yeah.
But it had been on my mind, and it's like, stop working yourself to death.
Well, okay.
Stop obsessing about trying to do a lot of work.
I feel like that's two different minimalization stories going
Yeah,
on.
I guess sort
You've
of.
minimalized that. I'm working on minimalizing some of my stuff.
Yeah, and I did that last year with work where I was like, nope.
Yeah, we had that discussion earlier this year.
Had to turn it down. To be a happier, healthier me, it needed to not to be
You got to
overworked.
self-care.
Well,
They-
mine isn't nearly as self-revelatory, but I'm obsessed with 3 things, and we're gonna do them in order.
Oh.
First,
Oh my God.
I think I wrote down the brand name. Let's see if I still
A
have it.
brand? Oh, now it involves a
ladies,
brand.
ladies and gentlemen, these flannel pajama bottoms that I bought.
Now available on Amazon.com.
Nope, I erased it because I found them. Oh no, there they are. Stafford Sleepwear. Stafford Sleepwear, ladies and gentlemen. Just don't wear the light-colored pajama top to the gym because it goes completely see-through when wet. 'Cause
Okay,
that's
no,
not
wait a
supposed
minute.
to
Now I'm
happen.
just realizing
Fair
that you
warning.
wore a pajama top to the gym.
Everything's a pajama top with me. This is a pajama top. Like everything to me
Oh,
is.
because you sleep and everything?
Yeah, I sleep and everything.
Got it.
Or
with.
But I found there are these certain things from your mouth to God's ears. So this sweet sleepwear stuff, and I wear it everywhere. It just looks like casual shorts and t-shirts for the summer, and I wear it to the gym. Well, while I was at the J.C. Penney's going through the whole collection, I found them in flannel. And
Oh.
Mama found flannel pajamas and hadn't left the house since. Like, seriously, I'm lying to people to go home and put my flannel pajamas back on.
Okay.
Because they's comfortable. So then I found them and I got coffee. And let's just say the Pink CD and the Kelly Clarkson CD, I think we talked about them last week, but I have done nothing but listen to those 2 fucking CDs over and over and over again. I thought I was neglecting Pink and listening to too much Kelly Clarkson. And then yesterday, the Pink CD played by chance. And What About Us by Pink. Hopefully at some point we can play a little clip of that under the guise of like advertising for Pink and selling music
They
to
still
her.
ding us for it.
But What About Us by Pink. What a fucking terrific song. And then just about everything on the Kelly Clarkson album is good. Just good, solid, not written by 19 people, just straight up pop songs with a little bit of a groove to it. It was one of the reasons why I got in so much trouble was I was listening to the Pink at the gym and like that.
Oh.
It was just so good. And it turns out Eminem has another song that I like. That's kind of sassy and funny and written by
Eminem?
Pink and Eminem. He does the rap part to one of her songs about getting revenge on someone that's cheated on her, and
Oh, but it's not angry Eminem. It's kind of like just a revenge. It's like
very playful, angry.
Okay, that's
so
different.
they're having like a rap song battle, and it's like fun and good.
Oh.
But that "What About Us" song, oh my God, my poor neighbors, they've really gotten to enjoy the words and music to that. So yeah, me and my friend, and
Even through
actually
the block walls.
I did like I was a little kid, like I had to trick myself into wearing something else so I could wash a load of laundry and wash the flannel pajamas.
So you can put them back on
So I could
immediately.
put 'em- yeah.
Warm right out of the dryer.
Oh my God! Oh my God! That's the part where it became a very, very special episode of Blossom. Because that was good.
With chestnuts roasting on an open
Oh.
fire.
All closed up.
Oh, my God.
Different fire.
I see.
Yeah, my sister must be listening because she just said pajama bottoms. Now you can go to Walmart. And trust me, even I know these are the fancy Walmart pants.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Like you got to be going in there for like a TV or like one of their pricier items.
According to Jenny, apparently there's Joe Boxer flannel.
Yes.
Oh, I had Joe Boxer
Didn't know
sheets a
that.
long time ago. Joe
Really?
Boxer
Wow, they
made
really
the softest
kinda
cotton
like-
sheets. Oh, they were heaven.
They really
So what you
expanded.
been obsessed with?
Well, not overly obsessed with. I cleaned out my
Mowers?
DVR
Vacuum?
the other night. I watched a few things that I had recorded that I had forgotten about, so made it through thing. I did watch the What's Wrong with Apu, the documentary, the hour-long deal, which was very interesting to watch. I'm still torn, but then again, the problem I have is white privilege.
Yeah,
I
doesn't
can
affect
do
me, yeah.
I can. It doesn't affect me. I've been doing voiceovers and voice work for my whole life, so making an accent, doing something. If you're gonna pay me to do an accent and that's what you want, that's a job for me. Like,
Right.
So I get the whole deal, but it was interesting to think of all of it from somebody else's point of view. Of think you'll come again is offensive to a whole bunch of people because.
But when they talk about getting the jobs where they make them do the accent, like having
Oh, right.
Aziz
Ansari
Ansari come in
and do that.
He's from South Carolina,
right, so he doesn't
North
have
Carolina.
He doesn't have that accent at all.
Right. So that's the part that makes it that I never even thought of that.
Right.
Like, oh my God, everybody that I see in those shows does have that accent. I just assumed they were hiring somebody that had the accent. Like it never even occurred to me that
They were putting it on.
They were putting it on, which
Yeah.
says something about what I think about people from India, that they really do well. Because I swallowed the whole
Hook, line, and
stereotype.
sinker.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
To me, it never occurs to me that if you're born here, then no.
Yeah.
You know.
However, not often do you find somebody with a real Southern drawl that's from India.
But it'd be the same
or
thing.
Indian
like,
descent.
I never,
Yeah.
I never thought of Mindy Kaling as being Indian until
I actually never realized she was Indian
right,
at all.
because she doesn't play. Because she's not playing Indian.
Right. She doesn't
Because
play it
we're
at
so
all.
used to like if she's not wearing the sari and not saying the accent, then it's just somebody else. Like,
Yeah.
We completely like.
And the name throws me off too. She doesn't have a Mindy Kaling. Who the
doesn't
what's that
sound
name?
it, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't sound
Yeah.
like Aziz Ansari or whatever. I can't remember his full name, but he's
Aziz Ansari. Yeah.
I enjoyed the hell
So
out of him.
yeah, so I thought that documentary was really fascinating because of how
Yeah.
much I learned about like how
Me,
fucked, yeah.
yourself.
Oh, like I got some fucked up stereotypes in my mind.
Yeah, but it was interesting. And then I watched last night.
And now, like as you watch stuff, go back and now watch them all do it, and
Right.
it's like, oh god, it's like nails on a chalkboard. Like
right,
now it's like
now it's bad.
Foxy World.
Yeah. Dance for me, you killer whale. You know, not all killer whales will dance like that.
It really turned that on its head.
So that was interesting. I watched a Bob Hope special last night, which was interesting because there were parts of the Bob Hope life that I didn't know anything about. It was very interesting. I missed, and maybe I just never thought about it, but obviously we all know about during the Vietnam War, it was not popular by any stretch with America. And certainly not popular with the boys overseas who were fighting and doing all the stuff for a war that was super unpopular. But it was interesting to watch Bob Hope go. Like, he went in World War II. Boom. Went to Korea. Boom. Everything was good. Yeah. It was about everything. Well, he goes over and does the same shtick for Vietnam, and it just lead balloon.
Yeah.
Like the first time he said, they're really trying to get you boys home. And they're all like, no, they're not. They're not doing shit to get us home. They're fucking us over here. And just how it landed very different. And he was very upset about the fact that I'm still here supporting the troops, but he was doing it from the way it used to be.
Yeah. Oh,
and
that's interesting.
It was very interesting to see how that landed very differently. Connie Stevens was actually on. She's still alive. Connie Stevens was on, and they had footage of her on one of the trips that she was there for Christmas in like 1967, and he said some line, and all the troops on the big the hill that they're all sitting on watching the USO show, they had kind of all turned on him, and he sent Connie Stevens out to sing, like, you need to go sing because you got to do something, and she sang Silent Night, and all the troops sang along with her, and that was the only thing that saved him in that whole show because it just. They were there for a war they didn't want to be part of. They didn't have all the victory and the rah 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 that we had for World War II, or even Korea. It was just interesting to see what he went through, as far as because he was still his love and support of the troops was really what he was all about, and just walking into a war, walking into a war that was just so unpopular, he didn't know what to do with it.
Yeah, and he wasn't relevant anymore. Now it's not his crowd either. Where in World War II. He was their peer. Right. So now, 20 some years later, this is no longer a peer. This is the generation that they're suspicious of coming out and and how different it would feel to be somewhere that you didn't want to go and be entertained.
Yeah.
And now we're going to go see the people that are here to entertain us, but they get to go home. Like, there's a different perspective of that, of like, that's gotta go over badly. Like
in some cases it did, but he just literally.
But I'm just about like the difference in their perspective too. Is it's gotta seem off.
Yeah.
Where in the 40s, when you're overseas, you're fighting, you're in the World War II, the whole world is fighting together for a glorious cause. Having the stars of the day show up is one thing. But when you're a teenager and it's a draft and you're forced, like you
hate it.
Yeah, I'm just
but he did rally back again because it was that dip with how horrible Vietnam was. Because when Desert Storm and everything was coming back, he was still there doing it, and that was back.
Right. Because I think you knew what the USO made more sense.
Yeah.
Like the USO's been kind of maybe more mainstreamed now. Like we know about the USO tours. There's been a lot of movies, but in like 1965, 66. If you were like 19 years old, you'd be like, "What the?
Who are these
fuck
people?
What is this?
Yeah.
Like, why are they why are we in a Judy Garland movie? You know what I mean? Like, there's such a generational shift that I don't know if anybody ever really put that together.
It was interesting.
I feel like there's a big factor.
It was interesting from that standpoint. It was interesting just to realize some other things with regards to America's. He was so Americana for so long, and to find out about, I didn't know about the 4 adopted children. I didn't know about the well-known infidelities of him and his wife was like, I know that you're on the road, but do not ever bring this home to me. And everything we do in this house is Catholic. And he was like, I'm on board. And that's how they made it through.
Spencer Tracy was married and infamously carrying on with Katharine Hepburn for years and years, but they were Catholic and they weren't going to get a divorce, so they had to live with this arrangement of he had an acknowledged mistress.
So anyway, that was one part. Cleaning up the DVR, catching up on some stuff. And the other thing, I was telling Joe some of this before the show started, which hopefully was mostly seamless to anybody who listens, who follows us. For many, many years, when Joe started Q Talk America, which was at one point Q Talk Arizona, a long time ago, back in 2012?
2010.
2010. 2012 is when we started. 2010, the streaming service was based overseas, and they timed out. End of life came to all of those servers and that service, so we changed, and I went through all of the transfer to the new servers. So it really should be seamless to you, because it's changes to where I upload stuff and how I interact with it. So making some changes, and one of the sites that gives us information that I rarely ever look at, only because I forget to, PodTrack.
Oh, PodTrack, yeah.
So I looked, and I found this to be very interesting. PodTrack gives us download data
downloads, yeah.
of everything. Just in the third quarter of 2017, that's this year, third quarter, 28 countries outside of the United States downloaded our show. 28
that's
countries,
great.
435 times.
Wow.
435 downloads. And first of all, I learned that there were 28 other countries.
Yes, Sarah Palin.
Outside, yes, thank you. I read all of the books though, and so I thought that was interesting. When you look at the some of the different statistics and different things about the demographics. That's what I wanted.
Demographics.
What type of what were we downloaded on? Was it a mobile device? Was it a PC? Is it a stream? Was it an actual hard download? Ages. It's very interesting to see that. But I was like, wow, 28 other countries, other than the fine people that listen to us here in America. That was crazy to me to see that.
It was always interesting to me, because when I started it, and it was originally the reboot of my own personal show, and I kind of started it with Babe and restarted the whole thing. And there was we initially kind of at launch, there was still the audience local in Arizona, because they knew about it. But then as kind of just it grew and search engines hit it, it was like, oh, the audience grew to where it was more people outside of Arizona,
right? That's
listening,
exactly
and
where
then
we still
outside
are.
the country. And it shows you, though, not that being gay is, I mean, obviously in this country, I don't want to say that, oh, we have it perfect, but we've got, there are plenty of parts of the world, plenty of parts of the world that do not have the rights, even the sort of limited rights that we do. And
they don't even have the rights to talk like this.
Exactly. And so for them, and for people like Amina and Anant and all the other thousands of people who listen to the show around the world, it really is, it's an outlet for them. It's, this is why I'm still happy. And I've probably said it before, and I'll say it again. You guys are still doing kind of like the original, I don't want to say like the mission work that I started this, because I started this just for fun, but just to have a voice that other people can tune into. Being gay, at least in this room, it's cool. Everyone's, it's just, you can talk about whatever. It's a great way to just have a voice out there. And if it provides people with entertainment, or just the fact that, hey,
or information about windshield wiper fluid,
or hey,
that's a good point.
Whatever.
Gay has become so mundane that now we talk about windshield wiper fluid. That's what.
But
I'm just happy that it's one of the few things that I've had a hand in. That at least the name of
that's what I was feeling. I wondered what that was.
That Q Talk itself continues to go on. You've got a link to the archives that are still up that haven't been changed in years, but they're still there of all the old shows. Yeah. Very old shows. So I'm just happy that it continues forward. I'm sure you guys will be doing it for a long time to come, and whatever that may be.
We got Tuesdays free.
It is still good to piggyback what you were saying. It is good. Occasionally we do get an email or a message on Facebook from somebody who listens that maybe they're not on the chat room and we don't know who they are, or like Amina just said, she has a friend that listens in Saudi Arabia who probably comes up as an unknown listener,
right? Over a VPN or something
like that. We occasionally get a message from somebody that's like, I live in a country where I can't be out, I can't do this, but listening to you is nobody knows they listen to you. Or they have headphones and, they're at work and they listen, but nobody else knows that they listen.
Right.
But it's just, you are my window of hope, or whatever they say. It's nice to know that somehow we're making a difference.
Yeah, I mean, and to have to watch or listen to anything in secret, just boggles my mind because I
mean, we're not work friendly. I
Yeah.
get that. You
right,
can't.
right, right. I mean, yeah, you can't blare it at
NSFW.
work. But the fact that you couldn't turn around and be a coworker, like, or we all do about podcasts, like, okay, I'm listening to this dumbass
Right.
motherfucker,
Right.
who can't figure out who that guy is, Tatum Channing.
Yeah, Channing Tatum,
Spent
Channing,
4
Stalker
years.
Channing.
Yeah.
Pretty
Spent
girl,
4
pretty
years
girl.
trying to figure out who the fuck that person is.
Cat, seriously, blown away about how much windshield information I received tonight.
Is that going to be the title of
Wait,
the show?
you think that's information? How about this? We're going to go our headline segment and tease you with stories that are coming up next on Q Talk America. Get ready. Oh my God, where's my thingy? Oh, I didn't have my thingy open. Oh, go ahead, Joe.
Tesla turns on its large battery in Australia.
Russia banned.
Do you even have a sleigh, you dickhead? Joe?
YouTube is yanked off of Amazon devices yet again.
Oh.
John Oliver grills Dustin Hoffman with a light sauce.
And Deep Shower Thoughts, a stream of interesting thoughts from Reddit. Oh my God. Well, I love it when I'm not prepared for my own segments and things happen, but we're
And
going to we'll
maybe
get through
next
it.
hour there'll be a drinking word.
You never know. We'll be right back.
Hey girl, you okay? You're listening to Q Talk America. This is the Q Talk America Radio Network.
And we're back at Studio C on a Tuesday night. It's a little bit after 8. Hi there. Welcome to those who are listening and are who are going to listen in the future, because we never know. You never know who's going to listen. Someday somebody's going to listen and think this is a brilliant show and
Did
call
people
us.
listen in from the past? I guess that would involve trying time travel or
No,
something.
but because few people know this. We actually do this show live, and then it's recorded, and then people listen later, and it's not live, but it sounds like Colbert always
It's
says,
Memorex.
live on tape.
Yeah. Well, and can I mention something that somebody brought up earlier?
Sure, go.
The Carol Burnett show. They did their anniversary this week, and somebody asked about it. It's wonderful to see that she's still alive, and like those
She is
clips are
alive.
still funny. But the thing to remember about that show that I think gets lost in translation, that show was not live. That's the takes they went with.
Yeah.
Like, they had plenty of time to redo those things when they were cracking each other up, but that's what they always ran.
They should have.
And that's something that it's a choice that they made that they could have done another take and maybe not done it. And on that topic, on one of the interviews I saw with her, they talked about one skit that was actually ruined by the surprise, because sometimes they wouldn't wear the costume to the day of the performance. Like Bob Mackie would dream up a costume that everyone didn't
Nobody had never seen
till
before.
they entered, and that would be part of the
Which
problem.
was, I think, part of the Gone with the Wind story.
Right. That people. Well,
She
that
went
one the
with it.
audience definitely had not seen, and that was one of the longest laughs. But they kept it in. I think they had to edit down the time. But she had talked about there was one clip that actually was ruined by the laughter. Like they never got it back together, and they did have to start over.
Oh.
Like they just couldn't recover. But the second time through, it wasn't funny, and she's like, and I don't even know what sketch it was.
Oh.
She's like, so if we didn't use those takes, that's what was working, was that it was the fresh take, the first take, the one they got through. Because she said in one of the longest laughs, she doesn't remember what the skit was. She knows what the laugh was for, but she can't remember in service of what.
Oh.
Because when they fixed it, it wasn't as funny.
Sure.
All the surprise was gone. So I thought that was interesting. But it's an interesting thing about people, like Saturday Night Live is live,
Mm-hmm.
where that's not. So that's just a weird way to look at that.
Because they would record on Thursday nights or Friday night. I forget which one they would record on. Then it was aired. Was it on Mondays?
Saturday nights.
Okay.
Saturday nights at 10.
I'm wrong all the way around.
But I mean, it really is. It is because people think it was a live show like SNL, like
I
it
know.
was the precursor to SNL.
Recorded in front of a live studio audience, but they
Yeah.
could retake and retake and retake
as many
right.
times as they wanted to.
Right. No, it was. I did watch it. I always feel, though, I don't like forced. Like when all the people are sitting around her that are relevant to whatever current show is on CBS that they're trying to push. So they get these people out there, and then it's kind of a forced "How much I love you."
Yeah.
I don't like that at all. But I got through it. It was still good. I saw a couple things that I don't think I'd ever
But
seen
none,
before.
and that's what, because at first I thought, oh, they're pushing something. I'm like, no, except for Kelly Cuoco, and she doesn't have to promote anything. She's pretty much written her check until death now.
Yeah. She's in
girl who-
syndication. She's
the girl
fine.
who does nothing.
Yeah, she's fine.
But I mean, that really just did seem to be. It was not handled organically, and it was really clunky. And
Yeah.
they cut out Kevin Spacey, so who knows where he fit into that?
There was supposed to be a singing number they were doing.
Oh, okay. So they,
I'm not mistaken.
they pulled. But I mean, it's had some clunky moments. Like it just, even though none of them were pushing anything, Maya Rudolph isn't in anything. You know what I
Right.
mean? She's just a funny lady. But it just, it felt a little.
It felt a little,
ham-handed.
yeah.
And the what's his butt? Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
He's creepy.
Yeah, but I didn't.
He's like the stuff of nightmares now.
I didn't think he needed to be there at all. Like I didn't.
That's what I
really,
mean. Like, not only was it unnecessary, but creepy.
Yeah, and Vicky, but at least Vicky was there.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
haven't seen him on anything in eons. It
No,
seems.
other
Yeah.
than a rerun of
yeah,
Ace Ventura,
right,
or,
yeah,
or The Mask or something. That,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
no,
yeah.
I don't know that he needs to be in anything else. I think we're good with
No,
that.
I
No,
think
because
we're
now
good.
he's
Yeah.
creepy.
Exactly.
He was the most serious in what was that thing in '98? The Truman Show.
Yeah.
It was an interesting role for him back then.
Are we going to do it?
Oh, well, do what?
The headlines.
Oh, we are. I just was waiting for whatever
we
that
just had a natural segue, and somebody had asked about the Carol Burnett
whatever
show.
that segment was. I want to make sure we got through that one. Hang on, I gotta do one thing for this. Boom. That's enough. Okay, anyway, here we go. Well, it's definitely a clause for alarm. A Santa working at a Toronto shopping center dealt with an angry adult rather than an ornery child this past weekend. A cell phone video posted online shows a woman in a gray and black dress yelling profanities at the Santa on duty at the Dufferin Mall. Now, here's a picture I'll show you of where the hell's my thingy? There it is. This is a picture still shot of the woman screaming at the Santa in the middle of the mall.
And she looks like she's just out of a choir.
Could be. I'm not sure. I think there was something else going on with her because
Or from a local cult.
it could either way. Either way, a cell phone video posted online shows a woman in a gray and black dress yelling at him. She starts out, and there is an audio clip of this. It's just a little hard to understand her. She yells, "Do you have a sleigh, you fucking dickhead? Do you have a sleigh?" She can be heard yelling on the video. So, calling Santa's names is bad enough, but the woman took the next step by declaring that that he didn't even exist at all. You're not magic. You're not even real. I heard about it when I was a young kid. You're not even a real man. This woman was captured on video
Sounds
yelling.
like a country song.
She was captured on video yelling at Santa in the mall over the weekend. The person who shot the footage told the video licensing agency Viral Hog that Santa brushed off the abuse and avoided engaging with the woman altogether.
That's a smart move.
Who was then questioned by security and removed from the mall.
Yeah.
A mall spokesman confirmed.
She's in the Roy Moore wing of the.
A mall spokesman confirmed to the Huffington Post that mall security guards spoke to the woman, who then left without incident. North Pole sources could not confirm or deny that the woman would be getting coal on Christmas. But she apparently, I don't know, if eggnog had been a little spiked, if she was angry about that dress.
Grind down that coal into some well-needed medication.
Could be. She may need to. Yes. Go for it, Mr. Duganzik.
All right. Mine's not perhaps as fun as that one, but anyways. Of course, I tend to bring the tech stories to the show, and I'll go.
Make it fun, Joe, or I'll have to kill you.
All right.
Right here in Studio C.
That escalated quickly. Okay. I've seen The Purge. I'm in.
Add some hoo-hoo and ha-ha to it. We'll be fine.
Do you like watching YouTube videos on a device from Amazon? Well, sorry. As of January 1st, they're taking that away again.
Okay, so Amazon devices would be anything...
an Amazon Echo Show, an Amazon Fire TV stick, or the Fire TV. So there's been this like brouhaha.
Why is my TV on fire?
No, they call it the Fire
what
stick.
They call it. It's because they got the Fire
Double
tablets
entendre.
and the Fire phone, and that was a flop. But anyways, so a couple months ago, this started with Amazon. You know, of course, famously has all of these Echo devices that you can say the word Lady A to trigger it, or several other words that we won't say either.
We don't care on this network. You can say, "Hey Alexa,
whatever. Alexa,
hey
fuck
Alexa,
off,"
you bitch.
Because Google Assistant is better.
What
But anyways,
what's Lady A?
That's what you say in lieu of saying, "Hey Alexa,"
Yeah.
because Alexa wakes up that device and then it wants to do something for you.
yeah, get your
Is this
weather.
like a Roomba?
No,
It's the
Haven't
Echo.
you seen
the
those
thing
commercials with the little devices people have, and "Hey Google, what temperature is it?" and it just tells you.
Yeah.
You call out
So now
to
people
it.
are too lazy to have computers. They just talk to their house.
Yes.
Yeah, this is literally like if you remember from.
I can't believe you don't know this.
If you remember from like Star Trek in the 80s and 90s, computer do this, computer do that. This has been made a thing by Amazon. So and to be fair,
that's going to segue beautifully into my entertainment section.
And they are for.
So there's some asshole just standing in the kitchen going, "What time is it?"
Yeah, you can do it.
I do it all. I honestly I get in bed and I say, whatever assistant thing, good night, and the whole house goes to good night and stuff like that. Anyways, so there was a
You mean lights dim and curtains
lights
get
dim
drawn
and the thing
things. Okay,
locks and all
like,
the stuff.
you know
Yeah,
what good night
all
means.
automation.
Okay, I'm living in a different century than everybody else. Like I don't have curtains and I never open up my shutter, so that service is really lost on me.
but
You
all
have
of the
lights?
all of the automated
I don't
lighting
turn them on, so really there's nothing to do.
tell you the temperature. That's about it. We're good.
It can play music.
Yeah, I can do that too.
It can play,
It
you
can
know.
tell you headlines.
But where is the? I don't get
It's
this.
a device that plugs in, connects to your Wi-Fi, and it just sits there. And as soon as you say certain keywords, and it picks up on it because it just listens to you all the time. When you say certain keywords, it will then feed back information to you.
I just thought it was some kind of I just fast forward through that because I don't get what they're doing. But
You can just say, "Hey Alexa, what are today's headlines?"
right.
And it literally will go through like the top 5 or 10 headlines
Right.
of the day.
okay,
Oddly enough-
this is as lazy as human.
Oh,
being. Like,
oh
now
my
you
God,
don't even
it's
go to your
incredibly lazy.
computer anymore. And
You
like,
can hook it up to Amazon and actually say, "Alexa, order me new flannel
Yep.
pajamas," and it'll reorder the goddamn things, show up while you're still talking to it.
You can get an Uber.
Wow.
You can
Yeah,
order
you
pizza.
can. Yes, you can order pizza.
There's like
He has
thousands of
pizza ordering problems already.
Oh. DoorDash. I mean, anyways.
I forgot about that.
Continue on.
Continue
sir.
on. So,
Trying to learn how to use my bonus points. I used them all.
Fuck, I don't know.
I prank pizzaed myself.
so
about
earlier this year, I guess Amazon likes to introduce a lot of different things and see which ones consumers buy. So originally, the Echo devices were just an audio; you would talk to it, and then they introduced one with a screen
That's a
called the
mistake.
Echo Show.
Well, and that's a computer.
So is it like the size of an iPad? Like
Yeah.
Okay.
It's kind and it's ugly.
It's
as
kind of how
hell,
like
and-
we're going backwards and we're back at phones. You know what I
And so
mean?
you
Like,
can you can talk
And you
to
watch
it.
porn
and
on
it'll-
it. These are the important things.
I'm sure there's a way. Anyways,
It's a jackal. It's a jackal.
so they had introduced this thing. Some people bought it, I'm sure. And then a few months later, and you could watch, YouTube videos. You could say, Alexa, hey, watch the show with Clayton Mickey, and you could watch, YouTube videos or whatever. But YouTube didn't like that for whatever reason. However, Amazon implemented it or
Bug up their ass. What the hell's that about?
technical things because of advertising. Because maybe it couldn't
I
show
thought
ads
I thought I
or
had just bumped up in
something
the
like
world
that.
by talking into my remote control. But now I found out I'm the asshole holding something. I should just be screaming at the room like
Exactly
a
right.
crazy person.
We can set you up. Anyways,
Jesus
so
Christmas.
so Amazon over the summer, I think it was like August or whenever it was, they yanked YouTube off. They said, nope, we don't like the fact that you implemented this. However, you didn't follow the rules or whatever. Amazon is famous for not following the rules. And so YouTube said,
is it Jeff Bezos? What's his last name?
Jeff Bezos.
Jeff
yeah.
Bezos, yes.
So YouTube said, nope, you can't have YouTube anymore. So, so if you want to do that, you couldn't do it. Then, oddly enough, right before Black Friday, they brought it back. In a different, like it wasn't as easy to watch the YouTube videos on it. I'll just.
It's just done with
Do they have
stick figures now.
They have a child stand in front of you or a really tall
I
person.
won't go into a long explanation, but evidently it showed more of like the YouTube website. It was not as a nice experience. But then today or yesterday, YouTube announces, oh, yeah, we still don't like you guys. So as of January 1st, we're going to yank it not just from the Amazon Echo Show. We're going to yank it from the Fire TV devices, which a lot of people actually have, because there are a lot of people who are in the Amazon world. They subscribe to Prime, where you get videos and music and all that.
Guilty.
And so the Fire
I
TV.
dip my toe in, but
So the Fire TV, you can get the Amazon experience on your TV as of January 1st. Nope, that's going to be gone too. Just gone. So
so fuck.
so we
Amazon?
don't know. Yeah,
Yeah.
fuck Amazon, and this may be this may be a negotiating tactic. I mean, in terms of famously the device that would be, say, from Google that would do the same thing is called a Chromecast. It's a little HDMI thing that you stick
in
into
your
the
TV, yes.
Yeah, similar type of thing. So
New Century. I'll let you know later.
Okay.
neither company sells the other's products, obviously. So they've kind of been at war for several years anyways.
Feels like Betamax.
Well,
and
right, but
VHS.
but Chrome Stick would be a Google thing, and Google owns YouTube.
Of course, right. So, but
That's your sticking point there.
So, but now they're just saying, well, you don't, we're not going to put it on, we're not going to allow YouTube on your devices. So, if it's a negotiating tactic or if it's just a fuck you from Google, who knows? And maybe they won't do it.
Is Amazon a search engine too? Do they have a search engine?
And that's actually
that's odd.
And that's the big. This is without going into a tangent. That's the big difference.
It's too late. We're already there.
There's a war between the Echo things and the Google's little things that you can scream into. The Google has the search engine.
Can I just bring back the gay and tell you what you're missing on YouTube? Because Cher, live from Caesar's Palace, Cat's thing from last week, her obsession.
Yeah.
Cher does all of West Side Story.
Yes.
Technologically amazing for 1970, whatever it was, and she really did play all the roles. Then you get stuck on YouTube.
Yeah.
And you end up at Cher, Las Vegas Celebration from like 1980, 1981 with drag queens.
Looking the same.
No. Oh, no. I mean, this was athletic Cher. This was action Barbie Cher. Like, looking incredible, dancing, singing her heart out, sings the hits of the day, none of her own songs.
Oh.
Oh, my God. I was having a little trouble sleeping last night, and I mean, I fast-forwarded through a couple numbers. But, I mean, she does Barbara Streisand songs from Funny Lady, which seems to be my obsession for weeks. But, so Kat got me on that fucking Cher channel on YouTube. So now if you own the Amazon device, where are you going to find your
But
Cher?
it doesn't matter, because you can still watch it on every other fucking
You
device.
can get it
It's
on-
just
yeah,
those
it's not
devices.
lot-
So 4 people that own that device,
Right.
fuck you, we're sorry.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
the 12 Gays of Christmas is up. So if you haven't seen it, Google it into YouTube or just Google it, the 12 Gays of Christmas. They're not really all gay, but it's allegedly.
A few.
One of the things, speaking of corning on YouTube,
I think most of them.
our headline segment has just gone all the shit, but it doesn't matter. Remember I was telling you a couple weeks ago about the episode of South Park where was a royal wedding, and I kept saying that they were commentators, and they're like, well, as is tradition in Canada and the whole thing. I laughed so hard about it. Well, I found it on YouTube, just that, and I'm going to force you to watch it because the way that they go through everything, which with all of the different protocols about how it's tradition and how and so is Canada and so is the world. Like different things. It's just the way they put it together. Crack me the fuck up, and I thought of you.
But the 12 Gays of Christmas, just a recommendation on the YouTubes or wherever you find it. 12 dancers. Allegedly, they're the male dancers from the Radio City show doing the dance for the 12 Days of Christmas in the rehearsal hall, but they're doing it to like a different song, like an updated rocky kind of 12 Days of Christmas, and it's really fun, and the guys are really cute, and they're just in rehearsal clothes, but they sell the shit out of it, and I recommend watching it with the
Which is
cheering.
tradition.
Some people get rid of the cheering and just redub the song over it because you can't hear the words with the cheering. But it's way more fun to hear like the crowd actually reacting to the dance. But it's really, have you not watched it? I post it every year on my Facebook.
I probably have. I just probably blocked it. I mean, in my head.
They're just cute. Just cute. It's just
a
cute
guess.
boys dancing.
There's that.
There's that.
I just figured if you're missing out on YouTube, here's what you're missing. If you own one of those Fire devices,
I don't own one of those Fire devices.
I don't know people listening.
I have chrome-plated crap coming in here to every channel that all that stuff. Plus, it's insane speeds of internet. Would you like to? Have we wrapped up that?
One final thing.
Oh my
You're
God.
right. You're right that Amazon doesn't have a search engine. It's why I think the Google things that answer questions are more useful than
I'm just
Amazon
surprised.
stuff.
I would think because of the sale, obviously the purchase power of Amazon.
yeah.
I would think that they would have a search engine because every time you look for something, it'd be like, by the way, you can have it in 17 minutes if you join Prime or whatever.
Well, I mean, they
it is.
do for their own products, but
Right, but
they have to
it is surprising that there's not
they've
a
had to
search engine.
They've kind of had to build something to power all those answers, but Google has it built in because it's Google.
Oh, they should just merge. That should be a fucking movie.
Google makes little answering device things too. It's called Google Home. Anyways, I'm done. Thank you.
Al Perkins, your first story.
So Russia has been banned from the 2018 Olympics,
I saw
but
that.
clean athletes may compete under a neutral flag.
Right, they're not permitting flag nor the anthem to be played.
Yeah. So the last Olympics was the first time I remember seeing it, maybe 2 Olympics ago, where there's the undeclared people that walk under. They walk under a generic. I think they might walk under the Olympic
From
rings.
other planets?
Oh, that makes sense.
No, but they're the people that their
Okay.
country for some reason was done, or they couldn't qualify under their team, so they're competing independently.
Okay.
So the Russians are having some kind of, with the Winter Olympics. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing that you need to be jacked up for?
Oh, figure skating?
So,
who knows?
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
Oh.
The IOC, one of the most corrupt organizations on Earth, the decision was made after a lengthy investigation into synthetic doping under the ROC. The findings of the investigation were published in the Schmidt Report, which confirmed the systemic manipulation of the anti-doping rules and system in Russia. So there's a lot of, when they do, and this is like the second or third time that Russia's been banned, and it takes a little bit of the sportsmanship out of it when you watch it, if you know, because it's kind of like the U.S.-Russia competition, especially in the Winter Olympics with the famous hockey matches and the figure skating back and forth. It's kind of, it feels like you've lost a little bit of the competitiveness or the sportsmanship, but at the same time, if they're all doped up and they were going to win anyways, then who fucking cares? Because I feel like they pulled these Russians out of nowhere to figure skate that you've never heard of, and then you're like, wait, now he just won the gold and he's been like the world champion for 17 years, and you realize it's just shitty American sports coverage that we only cover our country. So that's it, but I thought it was interesting. All things Olympics about to start, and the Lady Weir waiting in the wings.
I always forget. The kind of the Winter Olympics are the smaller of the two events. I would say they always kind of sneak up on you.
Every 2 years.
I'm just
every 4
hoping
years.
they don't stop this motherfucker from showing up again.
He's from an island nation.
I don't care. I don't just whatever he wants to do, winter or summer. We're good. I'm ready.
But you never know. I don't think anybody's going to be that in their nude, but
well,
there's cuties everywhere though.
I'm sure the stadium's heated.
God bless the athletic 20-some-year-olds that are all horny and got their free condoms.
They're all
never was any of that.
Jockeying for position.
And they're all on Instagram now. It's great.
Oh, of course, they have to. Oh, they're selling everything. They're trying to.
Oh my God. And themselves.
Well, the shower, as we all know, is not just a place to sing. Separated from our cell phones, standing under running water often allows people's minds to run free and ponder different things. Well, Reddit has an entire shower thoughts segment dedicated to the miniature epiphanies that you have the oddities of the familiar. My cat just walked in. Maggie, what are you doing? In honor of those weird, wonderful, and sometimes profound musings, they published a list of 25 of the best posts just from this past week. What the hell is she doing?
Just standing there.
She's standing there. All right.
She's never been on the show, has she?
Oh, God. She's more than been on the show.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes she'll just scream in the background for no reason, like she's dying, and she's not hungry at all. Again, here are some of these random thoughts from Reddit. Some are better than others, but that's typical, as is tradition. If you believe the Earth is flat, do you also believe that the sun and the moon are flat?
Right.
A jail and a prison are basically the same thing, but a jailer and a prisoner, completely different people.
Oh.
However true or deep the meme may be, if it's got grammatical errors, it instantly makes all who share it look like idiots.
Yeah.
The lottery system is the exact opposite of Robin Hood.
What?
The lottery system is the exact opposite of Robin Hood.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
In every Olympics, topical. In every event of the Olympics, they should have an average person compete so that we have a point of reference to appreciate the athletes
I think
more.
that's completely valid.
Let's say that one again.
That one made me laugh out loud today. In every event of the Olympics, they should have an average person compete so we have a reference point.
Yeah. Let me have 2 tours on the ice. Let's just see.
Put me in skiing because last year I had to be helped off the mountain.
I would have had to been helped on the mountain, even into the chairlift. I'm like, oh no, I can't get there from here. People say that life is short, even though it is literally the longest thing you will ever experience.
Yeah. That's funny.
What if Santa Claus is actually real and our parents are? What if Santa Claus is actually real and our parents just give us presents to hide the fact that we're on the naughty list?
That seems straight up right.
The guy who invented trash bags literally sold everyone garbage.
Yeah.
Thought?
Yum.
This is funny. Your stomach thinks all potatoes are mashed.
Fair point.
Oh, that's funny.
Some of them could be chunky, but mostly
Sure,
mashed.
sure, mostly mashed.
Yeah.
When you give someone food, you're feeding them. But when you give them water, are you watering them?
Yes.
People say like you water your dogs, right?
Yeah.
Is that a thing?
Oh, I had to water the dogs. Give me something like that. Yeah. We learn to read until we read to learn.
Oh wow.
That's interesting. That's a deep thought right there.
Is one of these the park in the driveway?
No, I don't know. I haven't got to all
the
of it yet.
parkway in the driveway.
Yeah, on the freeway.
Yeah.
If the alarm is going off, isn't the alarm actually on?
Alexa, is the
Yeah,
alarm
the alarm,
on?
right. A lot of people confuse left and right, but no one ever confuses up and down. True.
That's true.
I always confuse left and right, and I'm left-handed, so you think I would be a little hypersensitive to it, but no, up and down I got. Right and left fuck me up
It's
sometimes.
deep thoughts.
Writing may or may not is actually redundant.
What?
Writing the phrase may or may not is really redundant.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Taking out one of your earbuds is the 2017 equivalent to curtsying.
Yes.
Funny.
Hump, bump, and lump, all synonymous and all rhyme.
Oh.
Avoiding eye contact and avoiding contact with eyes are two completely different things.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
We'll never truly know what it smells like underwater.
Well, you won't want to for more than about a millisecond.
Black Friday and Cyber Monday really put into perspective what companies can really sell shit for.
Yeah.
Remember when teachers used to say, you won't be walking around with a calculator in your pocket? Well, look now.
Oh yeah.
Phone fixed that. Oh, this is funny. If Apple made a house, would it have windows?
No.
I
It
bet.
wouldn't have buttons or
That's
doors or
That's a
anything.
tech pun. I'm
Yeah.
sorry for that. Marnie would appreciate it, though. A day includes the night, but the night doesn't include the day.
Oh.
A day includes the night, but the
Yeah.
night doesn't include the day.
Yeah.
A fine is a tax for doing wrong. A tax is a fine for doing well. Unless you just got what they're trying to pass now. If you're rich,
Well, yeah.
you have to pay shit.
Yeah.
Tug of war should really be named War of Tug.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've actually thought that before.
Yeah.
You can feel a bruise, but you can't feel a bruise.
I don't get that one.
You don't feel it, but you can feel where it is. But you don't feel a bruise
I can still feel it.
unless
now.
you touch it.
If you get bruised bad enough.
Yeah.
Well, there you are. You're welcome. Joe, your next story.
Oh,
Those are all written in a shower.
I really need to practice
These are
this
things you
headlines
think
thing.
of. I mean, don't you? And sometimes in the
I
shower,
gotcha.
you'll be like, oh, I wonder about this, that, or the
Yeah.
other. I do.
Toilet wisdom.
Sure. That's another way to put it, yeah.
Things you would read in the Reader's Digest.
Or
Yeah,
just,
I have some great ideas in the shower. It's strange. I don't know.
maybe you should get an Alexa and you just bark at it and she writes them down.
Actually, I have. Well,
or whatever the hell you
I have 5 of these goddamn fucking things.
God, and all in that tiny
I
house
really
of yours?
need. Yeah. I can.
Christ.
She picks me up
Can't
even
they all
outside.
just talk to each other?
Sadly, no.
You would think-
Well, actually, of the same type, they do try to not answer at the
Are
same
you
time.
using these devices in place of actual people in your life, Joe? I need to know.
No.
That's a
And-
legitimate question.
Separate from the movie Her. No, I actually don't. Because you know what? Honestly, if you ask them enough questions, the same thing, you get the same answer all the time. So it's not really like they're going to respond to you with something witty and wise.
There was something that you could ask Siri on your iPhone, and the response was, "Why are you being a bitch?"
Yeah.
I like that one.
Apple's the most innovative of that kind.
Amina waters her horses. That's good.
There we go. Let's see. I was going to try to segue that, but that...
I'm sorry.
Just-
Amina, coffins are fancy garbage cans for people.
It's true.
Thanks, Amina. Go ahead.
decompose. So the Hornsdale Power Reserve, otherwise known as this giant battery plant, currently the world's largest kind of backup battery system in South Australia, just went online the other day after Elon.
That's what that was.
After
I wondered.
Elon Musk had promised, basically, I think it was over the summer, that he was going, over down under. They're in the summer right now, so they've got heat waves and challenges with providing power, and Australia is slowly sort of trying to move over to renewables and wind and solar. And when you introduce those, you have to find a way to store it
Yes.
and release it, because otherwise, when the wind isn't blowing or the sun's down, forget it.
You've got to have an energy source.
And,
Right.
and battery systems can help balance out the electrical load from other sources and help with even with the frequency, like the actual the power cycling and all that stuff. Anyways, Elon Musk had said to the government, "We'll build you one of these things in 100 days, or it's free." So he made the deadline.
Oh.
So they got their money.
Gotcha.
The world's largest, 100 megawatts. Now, to put that in perspective, because that sounds like a lot, Palo Verde, for all of us here in the lovely Phoenix
Our
area,
local nuclear power plant.
nuclear power plant is over 3,000 megawatts. So 100 megawatts, quite a bit for a battery system, but nothing to sneeze at compared to other power
But
plants.
now, how much is Palo Verde, our local nuclear power plant, how much of the state or how much of the grid does that supply?
Not, as it turns out, a lot of it goes to California and to Nevada. We get some of it, and it provides.
Oh, okay.
It provides what's called base load here. So what they do is Palo Verde.
I just didn't. I didn't realize we were going to be using phrases like base load.
It was a
Here,
technical
okay,
term, but
I didn't
anyway,
realize that.
provides the baseline of power.
Gotcha.
Especially like during the winter, they don't even bring on any other power plants here usually. During the winter time, Palo Verde provides everything we need. During the summer, they'll bring on what are called peaker plants. I have some friends in the electric power industry. That's why I know these technical
I
terms.
thought you were just really bored.
I know, right? No, another business associate who works for the power industry. Anyway, so they'll bring on other power plants around the valley to provide that load, the additional electric for when we have our hot days.
Got it.
Hot.
And
hot,
we do- and
need
we-
some loads.
we do
during-
have-
extra loads during.
Yes.
Anyways,
Peak
so-
times.
Peak times. So
load.
during. I'm sure the chat room is loving this. So, anyways, the not horny, but the Hornsdale Power Reserve, which is part of a larger facility with wind and solar in South Australia, now has purchased it because they met the deadline from Tesla. So 100 megawatts of power, there's two parts of it. It can provide a certain amount of power for a long amount of time, and some of it can provide a tremendous amount of power for a short amount of time, depending on the needs of the grid at that time. But the other interesting thing, technically, I won't go into all the details because it's not really necessary. Usually, what happens is for these changes in electrical needs, they'll have to bring on other coal plants or natural gas fired plants, which take time to kind of spin up and turn on and bring that power on, which is also how power is sold in like half-hour increments and so forth. The challenge, I mean, it's a good thing, but these battery plants that can spin up instantly provide that ability to add power to the grid or to provide a more stable electric frequency. Our 120 volts, or over there it's 220, 240.
Whatever it takes.
They can do that in half a second, in less than that. So it's changing the nature of how power is sold and distributed and so forth. It's a good thing, and it's awesome to see Tesla providing this. Obviously, Tesla does this stuff, electric cars. He does all these different things, and that he did make this deadline of the largest the world's largest battery plant in 100 days or less.
Now, question with regards to Puerto Rico, because he's involved with that.
That's
Now, is
right.
this similar to
don't
what
know.
he's trying to do there?
I would say it's similar. I don't remember the details. I'd have to do some more
Because
research.
Puerto Rico's much smaller. I would venture to guess that this.
But remember, this is only serving a small portion of Australia itself. South Australia is a state of Australia. But
Right.
you're right that Puerto Rico is much smaller. of
Right.
course.
So I'm thinking he's
Maybe
probably
100
could get maybe 2 of these suckers online, and he got the whole fucking island.
Or at least fix all the parts that are screwed up now.
I would love to see Tesla come in and just do all of it and be solar 100%. And
Yeah.
Puerto Rico be the first standalone, fully solar,
Right.
independent, renewable resource. I just think it would be fantastic.
Yeah,
It's
if they,
easier.
that would be the lemons into lemonade if that, if that
100%.
could go on.
And it's easier when you have, as devastating as terrible as it was for what happened to Puerto Rico, when you have an electrical grid that's already a mess that can't provide, power on its own. You've got downed lines and so forth. Putting in a few of these plants, strategically positioned, fixing it while it's broken is
Sure.
easier than going in and trying to fix something that's already
Right.
kind of
Don't rebuild it now and then rebuild it again.
Right.
Yeah.
Rebuild
Do
it.
do it right now.
The first, right.
Yeah, so I think that's what they were. I don't know the details of what they were kind of planning for that, but sure they could do that, and they could help with solar and wind and whatever, because that's a way to store it. But yeah, I think this is the future, and he's proving yes, it's possible. If anything,
completely.
it's saying, look, we can do this. It's no big deal. Look, we just did this in 100 days.
Well, I
Boom.
still love that the dumpster fire is still screaming how coal's the future, and even the coal people we've talked
Are
about
like,
the coal
nope.
people like, no, we're done. We're
Yeah,
pretty
we're
much
done.
we're on a
It's
rant
okay
down.
if we don't ride the elevator again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't need more black lung. I'm fine. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. That's
It's-
an interesting story about the power
Yeah.
grid in.
Just went online the other day. So.
That's cool.
That is cool.
Alfie, my friend, go for
Well, now this one I thought was something else. I just stumbled across this headline,
it. Ooh.
and I thought my
A
TV
bait
had
and
screwed
switch.
up, and I thought John Oliver was back. But last night,
He was gone.
yeah, they're off.
They're on hiatus.
Oh,
Yeah, they're on hiatus for the winter. Dustin Hoffman and last week's Tonight host John Oliver got into a heated discussion Monday night when Oliver brought up recent allegations of sexual harassment against the actor. The exchange, which was captured on video by Washington Post reporter Stephen Zichik, took place during a panel moderated by Oliver for a 20th anniversary screening of Wag the Dog, a terrific movie if you haven't seen it. The poor quality video was edited, and only about 6 minutes of the 1-hour panel discussion at the 92nd Street Y in New York City was posted. Portions of the video are hard to understand due to the poor audio quality. The comedian host brought up allegations in front of the panel's live audience. The Post reports that about halfway through the movie discussion, Oliver began to broach the subject. This is something we're going to have to talk about because it's hanging in the air. Oliver was referring to recent allegations made by Anna Graham Hunter in an essay which was published on November 17th by The Hollywood Reporter. In the column, she claims Hoffman, now 80, made multiple inappropriate comments and unwanted sexual advances towards her when she was 17-year-old production assistant on the set of Death of the Salesman in 85. It's hanging in the air, Hoffman said. From a few things you've read, you've made an incredible assumption about me. You made the case better than anyone else can. I'm guilty, he told Oliver. Weeks ago, Hoffman apologized for his alleged behavior and his statement was published. But so it's kind of like that this went on. You've invited these people in for a panel discussion, a whole group of people who made Wag the Dog. And then you bring up this topic.
Was John Oliver in Wag the Dog?
No, but he was moderating
Okay,
the panel.
I
So
missed
this
that
is one
part.
of the this is one of those things where it's just a panel
Okay.
discussion about the movie. You go in, you discuss it, and maybe they'll put out an anniversary copy of the movie, and this will appear in the DVD as
Dustin,
an extra.
Dustin Hoffman was in that movie, right? Am I
Yes.
right?
Yeah, that's who
okay.
he's grilling. So
Okay,
he's grilling Dustin Hoffman. So here you have Dustin Hoffman showing up for a Q&A about a movie he made, despite some recent allegations about.
Which I had not heard any of that.
Oh yeah, and then there's the fact that he was rumored to be really horrible to work with and really horrible to Meryl Streep during Kramer versus Kramer, and she spoke about it at the time, and it kind of got like
Pushed under the
pushed
rug.
under the rug as like, oh, she was being difficult. He was just a method actor when he was really just being a dick to her.
Oh.
For the whole shooting, and I guess didn't like her. I'd have to read that story again, but it came out. There's been so many stories now that you can't keep straight of like who is touching, who was this, who was
that was the same thing I thought. Dustin Hoffman is 80. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, well, The Graduate was 50 years ago this year.
Yeah, but you don't think of it. If you don't see them every day, you forget
Oh, I
that
know.
people get
And
older.
What
Right,
is he in?
and-
been in recently? Like,
And he's on a really good show on Netflix right now that I can't remember. A Day in the Life of something. But it's really good with Adam Sandler, and surprisingly they're both good because Dustin Hoffman annoys me a lot of times. He was cast as a 19-year-old when he was almost 30 because of how young he looked. So he should only be like 70 if you were doing the math of The Graduate. He's playing like 19 years old in 1967, but he was really 30 playing a 19-year-old.
Okay.
And looked it. Like I didn't realize till much later that he was
I know.
a
I never
teenager.
thought. I thought he was just a child doing. Yeah.
So, but I mean, I don't know how I feel about this. Yes, but he apologized for it. He read the things. I don't know if apologizing is enough in this land of like everybody's losing their job and getting kicked out of stuff. Or
it's nuts.
do you not show up at the event knowing you're on the hot box too? Like, you've also been accused. Is this the month you just kind of stay home and avoid stuff and maybe make a polite excuse? If you're John Oliver, do you let it slide?
Yeah, I think that would be the format in which you would just let it slide and
Yeah,
not be a dick
so
about it.
I'm kind of torn because on the one hand, I do kind of want to like push his buttons because he pisses me off, but at the same time, like, you were invited to this thing to discuss a piece of your work. No one on this set seems to have issues with you. Like, this seems to have been a happy set, a happy working environment. Do you bring that in? And so I'm kind of torn. That's why I thought this was something on the show when I read it. And then I went to watch it before I came over, I went to watch it on the DVR, and I'm like, oh, it's not on. They're off for the month. And that's when I read where this took place. Okay. Because he doesn't usually have guests on his show.
Right, not on his show.
So I couldn't figure out how this exchange was taking place. So it wasn't until like later that I thought, maybe not. And especially like with such a politically charged, Wag the Dog is such a politically smart movie.
Oh, yeah.
And has so much to say about the culture we live in even more now. Like, we didn't look at that and change our ways and go one direction.
And Wag the Dog came out when?
Oh, God,
It's 20-year anniversary.
20
so
year,
97.
Oh, my God.
And had a lot to do with,
Yeah.
I mean, it was kind of a really in-the-moment satire of the Clinton-Lewinsky affair.
So many good movies in 97 and 98.
Yeah, and that's terrific. So I'm kind of torn about ambushing somebody who's there for something else. But
such a charged landscape right
Dustin
now.
Hoffman's a dick, so I don't really have a problem with it.
Well, I don't know. I mean, with the ambush of things, I guess prime example would be 45. You know, the dumpster fire that he is, when he doesn't want to answer something, and all the allegations and everything that's coming out that they're asking him about, like specifically about the endorsement of Roy Moore, they are, I guess maybe they're not ambush questions, but like he's in front of a press pool. He always gets questions barked at him, and all he does is he's like, thank you, and he walks away. But occasionally when you ambush somebody, you get an answer, and you get an unadulterated answer because they don't have time to...
They're not ready for it.
Right, they're not ready for it. So
and not just that, but he's on a panel to speak about something else. You can't... does he walk off?
Yeah.
Do you do the Jodie Foster where somebody brings up something about the Reagan assassination and just say... we agreed to these rules, I'm out. Like, I don't know. It's kind of...
Yeah, if there were certain rules, and there probably wasn't. He probably was not expecting John Oliver to come out of left field.
Yeah, they probably covered, like, don't talk about Anne Heche is crazy.
Right.
Like, we don't need to go through her thinking, she's been abducted by aliens or she's from another planet or whatever the hell she was doing.
This is probably why I saw a headline with regards to Dustin Hoffman. And I'm like, well, that was kind of a random thought. There was something that he made a comment with regards to respect for women, which is part of his study of how when he did the role of Tootsie.
Right.
There was something he said there was some, not case study, that's not the right word, but to get into that role, to understand more of how women think and how things work, he did some extra, I don't know what he did to get it.
But that movie was a little bit of, I mean, it was, of course, written not for him, but it was kind of about him. Like a male chauvinist dick actor all of a sudden has to dress up like a woman to get a part and live his life as the person he's been shitty to and get treated the way he's been treating women. I mean, and it's a really, I mean, Tootsie's one of the best written movies ever. Larry Gelbart, absolute genius. That even the song that he uses to hook up with a girl at a party, he doesn't know what to do when he's dressed up as a woman on an accidental date with Charles Durning. So he plays that song. It didn't work on the girl he was trying to pick up, but it accidentally works on Charles Durning. You know what I mean? Because he knows it as like, oh, like it's a pickup song. You know what I mean? Like he knows he's being hit on because he knows that's what he would do as a guy. So it's kind of funny how it all comes around full circle. But Tootsie was really about him being a dick. Like I always thought that was a little on the nose for Dustin Hoffman.
I need to watch that again. It's been a long time since I've
Yeah.
seen
It's a
Tootsie.
funny ass
Yeah.
movie, but it's brilliantly written. Like absolutely one of the best screenplays ever.
And Jessica Lange is in that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she plays his
Oscar-winning.
ex-wife.
No. She's the
girlfriend- or
she's
just a
the
friend?
She's the friend that he wants to date, but he's dressed
Oh.
up as a woman, so he can't.
That's it.
I wanted to mention also, it's really useless information, but since we're on
This
the topic,
5 years of this show has been a lot of useless information. I'm
because
just gonna, you know.
I recently have put my own show on hiatus. It is not due to any sexual misconduct allegations, and I thought I would
That
just
we
throw it
know
out.
of,
That we
It's-
know
it's
of.
good to
They
know.
could possibly they could arise. Or
Alexa
surface.
may have problems with
Does
you.
she? Yeah, it's quite true. Or Siri, or Cortana, or Bixby. There's 5 of those fucking
can't-
things.
I can't anymore.
Anyways, yeah.
Oh, so quick! Can we address something that Amina was talking
Oh, was that
about?
your point? You just okay? I thought there was more to that, Joe.
Oh, I
You
yeah.
just want to make sure that people knew that you're
Clear the
on
air.
hiatus,
Yeah.
not because
Not
of any
because
impropriety.
of that's exactly right.
Got
Yes.
it. I thought there was more to that.
Oh no,
Okay.
it was my
Yeah,
shortest
Alfie?
segment ever.
Is that it?
Oh no!
Ever, in all the years of broadcasting.
We were talking about the Olympics, and Amina was going on about the Nigerian bobsledding team, and 3 women from Nigeria who are absolutely gorgeous in this publicity. Still, I
they're
was
back-
trying to
they're
send
in
it to you,
the-
but I was.
Kind of
It's-
sexist, don't you
It's what?
think? Your take on that?
Oh no! I mean, it's like a Charlie's Angels pose. Like,
Oh,
like
look
this,
at him.
Yeah, like this is glamour warrior.
That is strong,
Yeah.
independent woman
We're
right
gonna
there.
kick your ass, and we're almost superheroes.
And
like
they're
that's
in
a great,
the
great
Olympics,
picture.
right?
Yeah, 3 women from Nigeria will compete in the women's bobsled, becoming the first athletes from Africa to qualify for the Olympics in the sport. They will also be the first Nigerian athletes ever to compete in the Winter Olympics.
Oh, I found it.
That's fantastic.
But I mean, the picture below is joyous women enjoying sport. The top picture is we're gonna star in a new TV show and kick your ass while we're doing it because we are everything they need on TV. Like that's a fantastic picture. So that was just a little update. I guess they were on Ellen too. I never heard anything about them. I just
Like
googled
everyone
it.
is on Ellen these, well, except for some people, but a lot of people are on Ellen.
Oh, this is the picture Al was talking about is this one right here.
Yeah.
That's a tough picture. Look
That's-
at him.
Look at
Yeah,
that.
look at that.
Like-
they're gonna they're in
That
it
could be
to
like
win
a
it.
Destiny's Child reboot.
I would just say slip that into every young girl's textbooks and stuff and be like, "Yep, you're not feeling it. If somebody's treating you like shit, just here's your
Look like
3
that.
spirit angels,
yeah,
or whatever you
you
want to
can
call
do,
it." Like,
you can do whatever the fuck you want.
uh-huh.
Curious to see how they do.
Well, I guess we'll find out. And now I guess what we're going to find out. We're going to find out what Al has in the entertainment section.
Oh, entertainment! Just a couple things like 17 movie reviews, a funny thing about Broad City. We did that. Oh, I have a recommendation for you.
And I have a question for you.
Sure. Let me just look at this.
In
I
this
think there's
teaser
one
or
more
in
thing.
the show?
No,
Good.
we can wait
'Cause
30
we don't,
seconds.
we don't have time. Oh, we're going directly to break.
There was one more thing I wanted to
right.
remember.
We'll get-
Oh, just another
2.5
movie. Okay.
minutes.
But a recommendation that we all should stop doing this and go do that. So you have that to look forward to.
Sometimes you need a towel. We're not really
Yeah.
sure of that. All right, coming up, it's hour 3. Well, kind of, sort of. It's Al Perkins Entertainment coming up right after this. Stick with us.
Educates, syncopates, radio communicates, radio, the sound of year-round pleasure.
You're listening to You Talk America. This is the Q Talk America Radio Network.
And we are back. It's the beginning of what we like to call our final hour. I hope you've been with us all the time. If not, welcome to it in studio this evening. Joe DeGanzik is joining us in the Santa hat. That's Al Perkins. I'm Clayton McKee. It's the girls' night off because Kat is under the weather, though I think she is in the chat room somewhere. Also, Marnie is... it's always Marnie. She's fighting the old payroll and the work thing. So she's got other stuff to do. By the way, just a programming note for you, we will not have shows the week of Christmas nor the week of New Year's. So we're taking a couple weeks off. So if you're looking for live shows, they won't be there. However, continually 24/7 repeat of the shows online or on demand. Find us at qtalkamerica.com if you dare.
And I don't recognize Michael in the chat room.
Oh.
Are you new or not? Or...
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Al Perkins in Entertainment after we find out who Michael is.
I feel like we know, but I can't find him on my list.
I can't think of it right now either. Michael, reveal yourself. Reveal who you are.
And welcome.
Remind us. Al, take it away, sir.
So we will go with the funny thing. So Broad City stars take accountability for using white man power to get show on TV. Broad City creators and stars Abby Jacobson and Ileana Glazer say they are figuring out what they can do about the involvement of Louis C.K.'s former manager, Dave Becky, on their series. The actress discussed Becky's position as a producer, which they say is the result of his professional relationship with Amy Poehler, who helped bring Broad City to TV. I thought this was going to be a funny story. I did not see this going this way. The manager has recently come under fire for his involvement in the sexual misconduct accusations leveled at then-client Louis C.K. I thought this was going to be some kind of satire about the fact that, because they're using Trump as a bleeped word, they won't say his name,
Okay.
so it's bleeped out like it's a swear word.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought this was going to be like, because of the backlash against white male power, these two got this crazy show on TV. It's very funny. It's on Wednesday nights on
I've seen a
Comedy
few
Central,
episodes. It's funny.
and it's just completely wrong. It's offensive on 105 different levels.
Yeah.
And so now it turns out they have this tie to Louis C.K., and Louis C.K. just kind of admitted to everything, cut all ties, and walked away from life, it seems like.
Right, and he'll eventually filter back in.
But the fact that he said, yep, it's all true, and just kind of like...
I'm a dick, sorry.
Yeah, I was like...
Now, another thing that
Taken
just
aback
happened,
by that.
I don't know if anybody else remembers who he is. I learned of him, obviously, years ago when on the 70s show, Danny Masterson. Who
I just read
and
that.
that just came up. He was in it's a TV series, right, that he's in?
Something with Netflix.
Yeah, some series that he's in that, again, they cut ties with him because of, but those are actual rape allegations.
Yeah.
By like 3 or 4 different women alleging that, and I'm like, wow, I didn't see that.
Yeah, there are definitely degrees to this shit.
So my curiosity is, not that it really affects my life, but what do you do in a situation, like, for example, the allegations against Bill Cosby? There are several places, TV Land would be one of them, who immediately pulled any syndicated reruns of that show ever, period. We're done. We're never going to show it again. Also, some places will no longer air Fat Albert because that was the animated series from the 60s, 70s that Bill Cosby produced and did most all voices for.
Oh, right.
So my curiosity is, you've got Felicia Rashad, Malcolm Jamal Warner,
right,
and the whole cast.
Other people paying for the consequences of his
so
actions.
Because I don't know where I am with that. I would say that just because you fucked up, you get no more royalties. However, your royalties are going to go to a charity or whatever. But I don't think you can deny Felicia Rashad and that entire cast royalties from a show that they did excellent work on for many years. And
the show
it's
was
still funny.
And the show was good. I mean,
Right.
I'm not saying that these people.
I mean, 2 out of 3 judges agree.
Oh, I didn't say every bit of it was, but there was a lot of it that was funny.
I mean,
but I don't think you punished the entire cast for somebody's.
And I think
issue.
we're sort of again. I think it's kind of right now, especially right now. But it's like the pendulum is going one kind of far direction where we're sort of reacting to all this, perhaps a bit much. Again, not saying these people, the things that they did were not right, or were excusable. But it's kind of like, again, the show was good. Leave the show on.
And that's the old Woody Allen, and it's the opening of Bullets Over Broadway, which turns out to be a Harvey Weinstein movie too, which makes it the triple-edged sword. But it's, do you separate the art from the artist? Can you look at something and say that's well done, regardless of what you know
if
about
Charles Manson did it?
Right. Do you like the Beach Boys song that he wrote and they took off the album? You know what I mean? Like where he did write a song for the Beach Boys that was on one of their albums. So there's an art from the artist thing. And if you don't know, does it make it better? Like now, if somebody digs up a time capsule from the 80s and not from the rape trials, and they only find the gentle humor with the sweaters of that, like if you don't have that context at some point, then is it, you know what I mean? So it's kind of weird. I think we're too in the middle of it to see like putting somebody's past work that other people are making a living off of. Like, unfortunately, that's how.
If it was solo him, I get it.
Yeah, then
Sure.
absolutely. But
but
it's
if
affecting other people. Then I like your idea of giving the money he would make off of it.
Totally.
Has to go to some kind of a charity for women or
Right,
a fund or
right.
a
Support group,
support group,
Yeah.
however you want to do it,
Right.
but let the other people get paid for the work that they did
Right.
that they are entitled to. So, and then if you watch it, yeah, and like a big crush on Denise.
Understandably so. I too had a crush on Denise. I thought she was fantastic, and I thought she was, though really well played. She did her character well. I always thought that she was she was a misfit to that whole group. I thought. I looked at her and I'm like, damn girl, why are you in this cast? Like
that?
The girl who played Denise. Isn't Denise?
Is that Lisa Bonet?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah,
My
she
bad.
was
I
way,
couldn't think of her name.
She was way too cool for that show.
Yeah, way too cool. Beautiful, beautiful girl. But I also thought Felicia Rashad was beautiful. I'm like,
Oh
she was
yeah, yeah,
fantastic.
and an original Dream Girl. So I mean,
yeah.
I lasted way longer on that show than was necessary because of
Because
just
I
the
don't-
fact that I was
beca-
watching a Dream Girl do something.
Because of Danny Masterson now and these rape allegations, I don't want the 70s show to go off the air from being syndicated because I still like that show.
Yeah.
And I get a kick out of
Right,
it.
and that'd be another one where why punish the whole cast who's clearly making monies off that.
Oh, yeah.
Sure. And that's the only way that I get to see Wilmer Valderrama in tight pants and playing that character. So that's enjoyable.
Okay, so let's go to.
Can I ask you, before you go to your next
Yeah.
thing, can I ask you a question? And if you've already covered it, then we won't do it. It's not a movie that's out, at least not here in Phoenix yet. Very gay. Call Me by Your Name. Have you already talked about it on the show?
Yeah, it just won the LA.
It's won so many things, yeah.
LA Film Critics Award.
It starts here on the 22nd of this month.
Yeah,
I'm trying to
yeah.
get a small gay group of people to go.
Oh, there's another movie that came out I want to see in it called Something Like Summer.
Oh, I haven't heard of that one.
Oh,
There's
It's-
another other one.
Look that
too.
one up. I believe it's called Something Like Summer.
This is that other
well,
one
they're
that's
saying
called, like-
they're saying there's a gay teen movie resurgence coming out, but you
Yeah.
know, there's the one called Boy Erased that has that Lucas Hedges who we saw in 3 Billboards.
Oh.
He played her son. He played Frances McDormand's son.
In 3 Billboards.
Yeah, and he's wonderful in Manchester by the Sea, and he turned up in Lady Bird. So he's like making all kinds of award show thing, but he's going to be in a movie called Boy Erased that's about parents that send their gay child to aversion therapy.
Oh.
So the Boy Erased thing.
I
So
almost
yeah,
had to go
so
through that.
it's filmed in Italy. It's Arnie Hammer
and Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah, and he's cute. He's really cute. He's in Lady Bird too. So he's another one that's going to be in a
okay.
couple.
I'm looking forward to the movie. I mean, it seemed
And look
great.
forward to seeing the movie and him at Oscar.
Oh, this is it.
time.
Something Like Summer. That's what I'm looking for.
okay.
And it's the if you're watching us, it's the guy in the white robe. They have a relationship, but then the guy in the white robe, because of his family or whatever, he denies it's all happening. I'm not gay. It's this whole story. But of course, I'm obviously interested in it partly because of the kid in the white robe.
Yeah, tale as old as time.
I would be as well. Yes.
And there's a movie on Netflix streaming
On Gayflix?
on Gayflix
Gayflix.
streaming
That's a
called
thing. Sign up today.
Certainly is.
Closet Monster.
Hey, Alexa, give me Gayflix.
It's called Closet Monster. That
Oh,
was,
I've heard of that one too.
Yeah, I was telling you about it the other day at the movies. It's pretty good.
There's another one coming out called like I Love You or something. Another gay like coming of age story. It seems like a lot of them are coming
Yeah,
out
I
right
mean,
now.
and
Yeah.
there's like a new research. All of a sudden, they're
Yeah.
coming back, and
Yeah.
the attention that's being had by "Call Me by Your Name," which is what we've been talking about because it's James Woods, the evil little Republican that was talking about being offended by the subject matter, and then he got outed as hitting on teenage girls.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that movie's come up a lot. So the other movie that's coming up to really look for, and the trailers for it are just making me anxious. Like I just need to see this movie. It's called The Shape of Water. One of my favorite directors, Guillermo del Toro, and what looks like just a beautiful movie. And I read an interview with him today where he said It's what he thought Creature from the Black Lagoon
Oh.
should have been. He thought it should have been a love story between the woman and the creature, not some sci-fi horror movie. So he's waited his whole life to finally make the Creature from the
You're
Black
right.
Lagoon.
It does.
Right.
Then seeing the previews the other night, it does look a lot like
Yeah,
that.
it does look like that. And Buddy saw it at a preview here in town and said it was as good as hyped. And his movies are gorgeous. Pan's Labyrinth is one of the most beautiful movies that's quietly terrifying about something that's a children's story. Like, it's one of those things where, like, is this a horror movie or is this a movie for children? And like all Disney tales, they tread that line.
Yes, and Aunt. Love Simon. Yep, that's the one.
And my mom posted they are running the Cosby Show again. Didn't realize that. I thought they were still up, but that's good to know.
on-
So at least again,
BTV?
the cast, well, wherever it is,
running it, yeah.
because
Who's Simon?
That's Love Simon is that movie that I was just mentioning. The next
Oh,
okay.
okay.
thing coming
That's the
out.
title,
It wasn't
okay.
I Love You, it was Love Simon. Yeah.
All right, let me write that down too so I can look.
I don't
for
know
it.
when that comes out. I don't know that it's actually
I will
out
know by
now.
next week.
You'll know.
Okay, so I'll do the thing we should, because we should really turn off as soon as I say it and go do it. So The Shape of Water
the
coming.
fuck
and then,
did you just say?
Don't worry about it.
Are you drinking
So-
coffee? Woo. Okay.
So your movies for general entertainment and then getting ready for award season. We'll start with for your entertainment. I got locked into the DC Comics universe because I've always had a toe in the water. As a kid, one of the few cartoons I ever watched was the Super Friends or whatever they were called, and the Wonder Twins Activate, and still can't figure out why Wonder
The
Woman
Hall of
doesn't-
Justice.
Hall of Justice, just terrific. You
Okay.
know what I mean? I was all on board.
All right.
It was one of the few things that, because anything Wonder Woman, I'm
Oh,
gonna.
I
go.
was there for Dino Mutt. That was really all that got me there.
So you don't even remember. I just remember the Wonder Twins.
Which
And that-
actually I think are two entirely different cartoon
Yeah, it
empires.
was a little bit earlier
And
than
you
my
could tell
time.
me anybody was in that because I
Okay.
couldn't tell you the plot of any of them. But I saw Justice League because I saw, and we talked about that I watched Suicide Squad and how absolutely
Good night, Amina.
gorgeous and colorful. Good night, honey. How gorgeous
night.
and colorful that movie was, and didn't really care. Can't tell you how it ended or what happened in the middle, but it was pretty, and I was entertained. 2 hours went by and I didn't care. I didn't hate anybody. So on that strong recommendation, I went and saw Justice League, and it was dark, and I like that there's a price to be paid. Like, you don't just have a fight that destroys a whole city and not have some repercussions to it. When they punch each other and they knock down a building, people work in that building. So it is kind of nice that there was kind of a there's some kind of price to be paid for all the damage they're doing to
okay.
cities. Like, if you destroy an entire city, we're gonna need to have a conversation about how we're rebuilding that
Yeah.
city.
Yeah, people are going to be on the job.
Somebody's
yeah.
gonna pay
Work
that
from
bill.
home.
You know what I mean?
Good point. Yeah.
That's literally it's what's it called when they want to redo the streets and the bridges? Infrastructure.
Oh,
Yes.
infrastructure.
Yeah,
Yes.
you've destroyed the infrastructure of Metropolis. How about we have a conversation?
Because
about that?
Monday
Yeah.
we're gonna need to all go
We're
back
gonna
to
need
work.
more work, yeah, in the buildings that are left. So the Justice League was kind of interesting, and Blake Shelton was recently named sexiest man alive in the same world where Jason Momoa is walking around. Clearly, there's something wrong when they went with a fat drunk guy over. I mean, Jason Momoa, whether you find him whether you get the whole package, that is just sex in walking human form, and he's in tight jeans and goes swimming all the time.
Oh.
It was a diving video. I don't know what the hell else happened to the rest of that movie.
Jason who?
I know who you're talking about. I have to look
Momoa?
him up.
I think his last name is Momoa, and I may be getting the whole name right. Somebody help me out if I'm doing
Oh,
it
this
wrong.
one.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
He was.
Well, I don't know which picture to choose.
I know, because I told you last week, and you said you weren't interested in him.
No. I don't. Well, I understand it, but that was different. No, there's some good pictures.
Oh yeah, but you got to see the body and that tiny, tiny, tiny little waist because he clearly swims a lot. He is Aquaman. But anyways, and then Ezra Miller, somebody I've been saying for years to watch from Perks of Being a Wallflower. And we need to talk about Kevin. Terrific young actor playing the Flash, and he just makes it funny. It was funny. The guys from Pod Save America are convinced. I don't think they know who Ezra Miller is, but they're convinced the character is gay, and it's their new thing without realizing the actor that plays him is gay. So I don't know if they're picking up on that, but it's funny that that's their new obsession. And Love It from there is gay. So I don't know if he knows he's talking about a gay actor while wishing that Flash was gay.
Oh, okay.
So it's kind of funny. So then we saw Coco together the other night. Absolutely gorgeous.
Charming movie, and I actually have decided I want to go again, and then I'm going to take my mom.
Yeah,
Everyone is
just-
saying that they're crying. I'm scared to see it. I'm like, oh, I'm going to cry.
I was crying in the first 5 minutes of the movie. It's a beautiful movie, beautifully done. Obviously, the animation is beyond reproach because it's Disney Pixar.
Oh, and it's gorgeous. The music is gorgeous, and we just to bring it all together without knowing it. Jason Momoa is married to Lisa Bonet.
Shut up!
Yep.
Look at I didn't even know I
A
did
segue
that.
we didn't even realize was happening.
Oh,
And I remember
Kat would be proud of that segue.
I remember that I did see a wedding picture, but I had scratched out her face and put my own picture over it, so I didn't remember what she looked like.
Oh my God! As
I live and breathe. So
wow.
So Coco, absolutely gorgeous. The music is charming. The story is lovely. It is absolutely beautiful. I didn't think they would make anything more beautiful than Moana, but this was just breathtaking to see. The scene where he looks at the city of the dead almost inspired tears. Like if you wanted to make that,
Look at that. There they are. There's Lisa Bonet and
yeah.
Jason Momoa.
Now that's not a terrific picture of either of them because they.
No, but
Oh my
I just
God. He's like he's on Stargate Atlantis. I know the guy, of course.
Yeah, and he's from Game of Thrones too. Somebody put it in the room.
Okay,
gosh.
okay,
He's
okay.
Khal Drogo.
Yeah,
back to Coco. Sorry.
So absolutely gorgeous. Don't miss it. It's gonna win. Well, it's on its road to winning Best Animated Feature. There's a couple little independent movies. One about I won't think of it. Loving Vincent. That's getting a lot of great reviews, but I just don't think you can stop the machine that is Coco. It's just
one of
beautiful.
I've been listening to the soundtrack on repeat, like just doing different things in the house. It's just, again, I do not understand Spanish, but it doesn't make a difference. The music is great. It's fun. I enjoy it. But one of the things that I read was typically, and you obviously will know this because you watch a million movies, movies are overdubbed, especially with an animated. They're doing voiceovers anyway, but any movie, if it's going to go into another market, they overdub in whatever language that is. They've made the decision they're not overdubbing it for Spain. They're going because of the culture of what that movie is about and everything. They're leaving the Spanish speaking with their dialects and everything intact, and it's going to Spain that way. They're not going to redo it for Spain. I thought it was interesting because it's like they want to keep the movie and the story very true to the culture and
makes
exactly how that all works.
So they want to make it Mexican Spanish, not Spanish.
Exactly.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
So I thought that was very interesting to read.
Yeah, that is.
Not that I understand either one of them. I mean, you could
I
be
used
telling
to
me
be
to go directly
used
to
to
hell.
be fluent in
Oh
Spanish,
God,
but
never.
long time
I can
ago.
order a burrito, and that's about all I got.
Yeah,
That's
carne asada.
exactly number 12, please. Thank you.
So then we'll go with the movie that I was not as impressed with as I think I'm supposed to be, Lady Bird. Which
Yeah,
is,
you'd said that.
Which was has been getting like really making money at the box office for a movie that's been in like 6 theaters. In the slow release, it's breaking box office records. It's and I know I'm gonna fuck up her name. She's from Frances Says Ha. I always think I'm gonna pronounce her name right, and then I don't. Directed by her, Laurie Metcalf as her mom, terrific. Saoirse Ronan as the main character as Lady Bird is really good, but it's just a little bit of I don't know. It's just kind of lays there. Like I really didn't care about any of them. I thought it was nice, but I don't really give a shit about Sacramento and let me look this up real quick so I get her name right, because it is a big deal that she did write and direct this movie. It's getting a lot of acclaim. It's won Best Picture from the New York Film Critics. Greta Gerwig. I always want to call her Hedwig. Greta Gerwig.
She was on Colbert the other night. I thought she was charming, and I saw a scene about the movie, but I nothing.
And
really,
it's when you rent it at home, when you watch it at home, free on your Netflix, you're gonna love it. It's a terrific movie. It just at $14. I was like, okay, something got to happen here.
right.
Like this we're fine with this going straight to Netflix, because now I'm starting to be like, these movies are too expensive to watch.
It's expensive,
Nothing
yeah.
happen for $14.
All right.
Have you
When
tried? I think we chatted about it. Have you tried to sign up for that whatever that is, Movie Pass thing?
Yeah, but Harkins doesn't take it. So
oh,
it's-
that's right. They
it's
don't.
pointless
yeah,
here.
it's- yeah. that's true.
So that was that. But the movie that is really good and worth the money was Wonder, about the little boy
Oh, I do want to see
that
that.
had all the face surgeries. That was absolutely beautiful and moving. Julia Roberts has never been better. Just really well done. You laugh, you cry, you're on everybody's side, and it's by the guy that, and we're gonna ties it all together again. It's by the guy that wrote and directed and wrote the movie and wrote the book of Perks of Being a Wallflower.
No.
He was one of the few people that got to write the screenplay and then direct a book he wrote, and it was one of his first books. So that was kind of a big leap that they let him write the screenplay, and hey, why not direct it? Like, who does that happen to? So now he directed this movie, and he's just a good director. Like, he really does have an eye for the material, and you see everything from every point of view. Like, they that you build up with someone being a bad guy, and then they start telling the story from the other person's point of view, and you find out like what motivated them to make a bad choice, and what. So you just get this tale of like these people's lives and how they're intertwined and how people hurt each other's feelings, but then you see it from like different points of view, and I just thought it was well done. I cried through the entire fucking thing. I mean, seriously, snot bubbles.
Wow.
And then the last one we talked about a couple weeks ago, it's out on video. Try to catch it. It's on demand on your cable boxes. Dark Pretty Things, which I thought was going to be a foreign movie, independent movie, shot for $20,000, shot for less than an American car.
Wow.
That's amazing.
And let me just go and check that title again because I keep getting that right. It's either Pretty Dark Things or Pretty Dark Times, but it's a really good little what genre would we add it to? It turns out they use this title a lot.
Dark Pretty Things.
Pretty
That
Little
is
Liars.
Dark Pretty Things. That must be what it is.
Oh.
Stimulating.
Yeah, I know. I'm so sorry.
That's
Well,
all right, doesn't
you can
matter.
talk about windshield wiper fluid again.
Bitch. I enjoyed that. That was funny. Though.
I'm gonna insert that. That's the drinking word, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Phrase.
Dark Pretty Things. Anyways, so this movie, it's kind of from that teen, and they're actually watching a movie from the genre of like teens gone wrong when left on their own. They're actually watching a movie from that genre on the TV while they're doing the movie. And it's like, if you would just pay attention to the movie on the screen, you might avoid the next 3 weeks of your life when everything goes to hell. And it's just something that like an accident goes wrong with these teens that are kind of playing around and goofing around after school, and then the whole thing takes a dark turn, and you don't know like.
There's a prostitute in it. I'm reading the synopsis of the movie.
Plain and
Oh, see, I may be getting the title wrong. Who's it say stars?
Dark Pretty Things film. It's about wait, are we talking about a 2002 British?
No, but I
film?
love that movie. That's why I know I'm getting it wrong.
Oh, my
God
bad.
damn it! I know that's why I knew I was getting it
then-
wrong. Because that's a great movie with Chidawar Al-Jafar, whatever you say his name.
I've already gotten out of it.
Yes.
Oh no, you're right. Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Yeah.
Ejiofor.
Yeah, that is.
Wow.
Oh my God! If you screw up and you watch that movie instead of the one that
Still
I'm
good.
recommending, you're gonna
Still
like
fine.
that one even better
Oh,
because
word.
that one was not made for $20,000. But it's real fucking good.
20,001.
Pretty Things. What's it called? I don't know where to go anymore with
I
this.
know. I
Pretty,
don't
pretty
either.
dark things.
Pretty. Yeah, it's dark.
I don't.
It's a jackal. It's a jackal.
It should be on the bottom of my IMDb page. I can look
Oh
up all
my
the things
God.
I've looked up this week. Too goddamn funny that I can't remember.
And now there's a 2016 movie called I Am the Pretty Thing That Lives in the House.
No, it's like
Without the lights on, so therefore it's dark.
Dirty Pretty Thing. No, wrong.
God.
If
damn
anybody
it.
in the chat room has any idea what we're talking about,
Dear
please
Google,
let us know.
Cat,
And
we need your help.
then there's no one in the cast. Oh my God, there's no one famous in the cast. But I'll think of it
okay.
later. Because it's made for $20,000, so nobody that has a real job is making this movie.
Okay.
But it's a terrific little indie film that we had talked about, and I was looking for it like 2 months ago, and I found out it was only playing in like 3 theaters during festivals, and then it was just a straight to video. So it came
Okay.
out on video last Tuesday, and I watched it. But when we're talking about something else, it's hard for me to type and talk, and it ends in me trying to type something in and you yelling at me that it's interesting.
And a blank interlude.
Yeah.
You should have like interlude music when there's like dead
So,
air.
Half the show
if
would
you
be
get a
that.
chance,
Oh,
and then Will and Grace, Gay, Chris. Oh, so what you should be doing? Okay, we're gonna take advantage of this. On Netflix, started off on the BBC. Netflix realized what they had on
Working
their
it.
streaming, and they bought the show and took it over. And we're like, bye BBC, you're coming and play with us. Black Mirror. This has been kind of like swimming around in the background of everybody's consciousness for a while. It's been on for 6 years.
I've heard of it.
Just won a Emmy this year for best TV movie and for best writing of a TV movie. And Baskets is coming soon. That's fantastic too. Black Mirror. It's not a series. It's not any kind of a whatever you want to call it. It's not an
Serial.
anthology. Like you don't have to watch one episode to watch another. They
Okay.
have nothing to do with each other. It's just the same writer, so it's Twilight Zone-ish. But I don't want to give you the impression that there's anything scary or that anybody's going into outer space.
Because Black Mirror sounds like a...
Sounds like it could
Well,
be
the Black Mirror is
not
this.
advisable.
It's your phone. It's looking at yourself in the blank screen. That's your Black Mirror. So it's all about technology. And
Oh.
it's set in a future 10 minutes from now. Like, it's all about what could go wrong with all of these things that we haven't thought about.
Oh.
And it's been on for 6 years. So that's why it's like 10 minutes
Wow.
from now. And the first episode is about Twitter. And so now we're so used to Twitter that no one thinks anything about it. But then Twitter was new.
Not kind of a thing, yeah.
But you're kind of left with politicians whispering in each other's ears about, well, right now it seems like the public is with you. They have your sympathies. You should be able to get away with this. While he's pretending like, I have to do the right thing. I don't care about public opinion. But now we live in that world. So again, the rabbit hole opened and we went down the one that this show was telling us, maybe just do the right thing and not worry so much about public opinion.
So
and it's right there. But
is each episode set in current 10 minutes from now or 6 years 10 minutes from now?
no, I mean it's all
It's
like
all just-
it's current. It's
Okay,
just
okay.
it's
Okay.
right. If you didn't know that first, if I didn't tell you that first episode was from 2011,
Yep.
you would think it was written 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
Okay.
Like, and there's one that I thought Super Dark Times. Thank God, thank
God,
you.
thank God Cat's there and Googling things.
And I knew I was getting it wrong because I love the movie Dirty Pretty Things, and I knew in my head I had swapped the titles. I knew it. Super Dark Times, really fucking good.
Okay.
And when you realize that they made that good of a movie on pocket change,
20,000. It's
yeah,
amazing
what
you
some
can do.
people spend on catering. But Black Mirror. So the first one is about the prime minister trying to save a princess. Fucked up beyond imagination, and they're all under. I think that one might be the only one over an hour. There's one about people on bicycles and they're watching TV, and then you realize that they're accumulating points by buying stuff, and they live their whole lives constantly focused on a screen, and they have to like dress their avatars, and they're only spending things that have to do with the things they're watching on the screen. There's nothing in real life but riding this treadmill.
Oh.
And they they go to their rooms and they have to pay to turn off commercials. There's like advertising all around them constantly, and it seems sci-fi until you realize there's advertising around us.
Oh, 24/7.
24/7. Like 17 different screens pop up. You have to pay to do this, and it's really terrific when you see the way this lottery works, and it turns into like a talent show, and they go on like an American Idol competition, and just the fucked upness of like needing enough likes to get you out of riding the bike to go do something. It's just fucked up. And again, it's all stuff that we've seen, like at the gym. You ride the bike and you're watching six, 7 giant screens of television at the same time. So it's like, this isn't any kind of, it's not science fiction. It's
reality.
It's reality. It's
Yeah.
what you're actually doing. And when you pay $1 for
Yeah.
more points on your Candy Crush,
And
you get there's no value to that. There is nothing.
Right.
There is
No.
nothing in that.
remember, it was, fictional, of course. Remember Back to the Future 2 in the early 90s when it was like he turns on the TV and it's like 7 channels all at once?
Yeah.
And now this is kind of normal sometimes. I mean, I find myself all the time. I was doing it last night. I'm like, I have, because I'm rewatching it, sorry. I'm watching The West Wing, using my computer, and then watching a YouTube video on my phone all at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
Sort of.
Yeah.
And it's just like normal now.
And I can't do anything without. Anytime I watch something, I have to have IMDb open because I'm like, okay, who's that actor?
Gotta look it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, who wrote
Second
this?
screen.
Like somebody will say
Yeah.
something. I'm like, okay, that was really funny. Who wrote this? Like, who directed this? Like, what else they watched? I need to know what else they watched. Like, I tail to snout stuff when I watch it. Like, I am the person that goes fully immersive and needs to know who is the gaffer, who's holding that microphone. Like, just goes fucking nuts.
Well, we do that at your house for like Academy Award stuff.
Yeah.
Like we pause the whole show. We go through IMDb and figure out what the fuck this is all.
Yeah.
Where was it filmed? What year? How did they do it? Yeah, all that shit. We do
Yeah,
that.
I mean, I just need to know. But and Aaron from LA, I thought he might already be on this boat. They don't make any difference. Like there's, we ended up living in the world that they were kind of like. What if this happened? You're like, oh,
It's already done.
Yeah,
We're
we
here.
dove right in. And there's one in the second episode that I was like, oh, no, I can't really recommend this because it really did go kind of a horror movie purge kind of way. Oh, and then the twist at the end was like Twilight Zone worthy of like, oh, what the fuck did I just watch?
Oh.
Because I thought, ooh, this is kind of creepy. And I'm like, ooh, this is going to have like a horror bend and you'll never watch it. But I was like, oh, no. Did not see that shit coming. And it's riveting. But there's only a couple episodes. Some are 45 minutes. Some are like 55 minutes. The first one's a little bit longer. And I think it's just so you get a taste of like how dark this show is gonna get. Like just how far down the rabbit, and they don't ever go that far, at least as far as I've watched. They haven't gone as dark as they did that first episode.
Ooh, maybe there's something coming that's going to be
But
dark.
but Netflix snatched it up and now
They've got a lot of stuff now.
But I mean, so I want them to buy Schitt's Creek so I don't have to wait around. And since Kat's listening, Pop is now on my cable box, so when Schitt's Creek comes on, you can just come over and watch it. You don't have to wait the year for it to come on Netflix. I'll just have Schitt's Creek's viewings.
Speaking of Cat, I wanted to do a crazy Cat Carlson segue. So you mentioned the word princesses or princess a few minutes ago. So speaking of princesses, does anyone care about this? I feel like this
That was
new
really a hard way to get
I
there,
know.
Joe.
Sorry, I know. I'm not as good as you, Kat. I can't. I can sit in the chair, but I'm just not. You know.
That was around the corner and back a couple
Yeah.
steps. Anybody care about what? The royal
Star
wedding?
Wars.
Oh,
And I feel like it's not. They're either not advertising it as much, or no one cares.
I couldn't
or
care-
I
I
couldn't
couldn't
care
care
less. I just feel. I mean, I'm kind of
how
not.
did that Canadian magic happen? As is traditional.
Okay. I didn't get that one. Anyway,
No, referencing something completely
something.
else.
Oh, okay. Anyways,
I'm probably gonna go see that one because
you want to catch up with it?
somebody, whatever the last one was called. I don't know what any of them are called. I don't bother.
Well, the last one wasn't like in sync with this one, right? This is the next one in line from 2 years ago.
Yeah,
Right.
some bullshit like that.
Anyways,
Which I didn't mind that one
okay,
with Carrie Fisher in it.
yeah.
I
Right.
did like Adam Driver and what have you. Like things happen.
So is the one did the one already come out that was
This
Carrie
is-
Fisher's last one, or is that this one coming?
That's this one.
This is 8. This is in this sequence because remember the last one was kind of like they were telling more of the story.
don't
he has
remember.
no idea.
Okay, no worries.
I saw the first one, and that
Okay.
was enough for me.
Okay, there we go.
So Carrie Fisher's last appearance is the one that's coming
Is
out.
This
Yeah.
one, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
And they're not CGIing her. So when she was done filming, they
That was
resolve
it.
it.
They just
Okay.
changed.
And there was a big argument at work. Not argument, but we were discussing the fact
Argument at
a
work.
forum.
that they wouldn't.
Oh, that Canadian magic, Schitt's Creek.
Oh yeah. I know. Pop. I have it.
The proper spelling?
So
It is.
Okay.
somebody was telling me that she was CGI'd because they weren't it was one of those people that doesn't quite get like the movies are filmed a long time
Yeah.
ago.
Before they do the
They didn't just make it last
post.
month and release it
right,
today.
Yeah.
So he was like, well, she was dead for this one. I'm like, no, she was alive for that one. And he's like, well, she's CGI'd in the new one. And I'm like, no, she's not. And I didn't realize they were talking about the movie
Rogue
from
One.
this last year that came out.
Yeah. Which they had to because
Which
they had
was
to make
like
her
the
look
prequel
young.
to the Star
Oh,
Wars.
okay.
Yeah.
So it's
So
like a
the-
flashback of
Yeah.
Leia.
It was
when
the
they
middle of the
ended-
story thing.
Yeah, so when they ended the movie, the main character has to hand something to Carrie Fisher to start off the first Star
The
Wars
first
movie.
one, yeah.
So she turns around but she was alive to okay it. So they did the Benjamin Button thing and like digitally aged her, but she was there to do it.
Okay.
Right.
It really was her. They just did the Benjamin Button thing on her.
Yeah.
And in this one, they didn't want to do that at all. They didn't want to do the Fred Astaire dancing with a vacuum cleaner bullshit. So they aren't doing that. But I didn't know till I finally saw whatever Star Wars 16. This time it's personal.
Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah. Who gives a shit at this point? But it was the prequel to the first Star Wars and explained the giant plot hole in it that I was like, oh, I guess we had to address it. I guess 30 years later.
Oh, there was a plot?
And the first one,
Plot.
it's paper thin, but there's a plot to Star
yeah.
Wars.
I never paid attention. I honestly got never paid attention.
So because of the maintenance flaw, and then you find out what's wrong,
Oh,
like why
Yeah.
why there was a maintenance flaw in the Death Star. Like why is this indestructible thing? You push one button
That's
and it
right.
blows up.
Yeah, from Rogue One. Yeah.
So that's
okay.
how. So they
Yeah.
go back and kind of explain the strategy of why.
Should there
I
have
know,
been like some sort of a recall on the Death Star?
I know exactly thing,
They built a second one,
oh.
and they found a different vulnerability.
but they.
But they didn't
and
build a
it's
third one.
another movie. It's
like an
fine when you
iOS.
have like an hour and 45 minutes to kill. They happen.
Yeah. Disney's
Alright.
gonna milk the damn thing forever at this point.
Well, no,
It's-
'cause
Yeah, and
that was-
they're vaguely entertaining. I wasn't
Yeah.
not entertained at all. Like, and then it ended with Carrie Fisher, and I was like, oh, now I get what the fuck I was just watching. Like that makes sense because I'm
It
like,
connects
what
it all.
are these
Yeah.
people talking? Like, I seriously was talking in my living room. Thank God I don't have one of those devices because then it would have been somebody, some computer
Talking back to you.
explaining to me the
Yeah.
plot.
Alexa, please explain this.
Because I think at one point I did have to Google, why does this person care?
Why does Al Perkins care?
Because there's some Wikipedia page. Like
right.
yeah.
I couldn't follow Game
Some
of Thrones.
fanboy page that
Because
somebody's.
that's just fucking nonsense. But
yeah.
luckily, I got in there like 5 years late, so there's a Wikipedia page. So if you have questions,
Oh, of course.
it explains it all.
Yeah.
So I would just type in a character and be like, I can't listen to that dialogue one more time because it was nonsense. And luckily, somebody has broken it down for you and explained it. And I'm like, oh, that's pretty interesting. I'll watch another episode. And I'm like, all right, who the fuck is this person? So I seriously carry around my wiki Game of Thrones.
Okay.
Because it's lovely and there's characters I like, but then there's like 20 minutes of like, I got nothing. Can I just read about it? And I really do. I'll fast forward and then just read the
Probably
WikiLeaks about
it's
that
just
episode and be
easier,
like,
yeah.
all right, I got it. To get to the parts I like.
Well, don't you just watch the YouTube channel that Gay of Thrones?
Gay of Thrones.
And just get caught up anyway?
That's what made me watch Game of Thrones, God damn it.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the only reason I watch it, because I'm like, well, I want to know what some of these jokes are.
Oh, well, okay. There's that.
I've never watched any of it.
But
maybe I
It's,
should.
it's total nonsense.
I watched
Total
a couple of the Gay of Thrones on YouTube just because he described it, and it's really funny because
Okay.
I got nothing. I don't care
Yeah.
anything about the show, but
Right.
watching him explain it using modern day analogies is much
Okay.
funnier.
Yeah.
I'm gonna add it.
It
to
is
my
100 times more entertaining than
It
Game
is.
of Thrones ever was.
It's a hairdresser in L.A. who actually is doing somebody's hair, and when he's
Oh.
in cahoots with them.
Okay.
But like when she comes in, he explains like the last night's episode of Game of Thrones, but it's all using modern day. Well, and then Dark Lady Girl here, or the Lady Gaga impersonator, or however he does
Christina
it.
Aguilera.
Christian, yeah, he goes into all of these things and describes all of these people, and to hear him describe it, it sounds like he just went to a party last night, and these are all the people who are at this party.
Basically, that's what it was.
Well, so and so, and then she got mad, and she got backstabbed, and they all died, and then like he goes through this whole thing, which is kind of funny. But
It's like I have this book. I don't know where it went. It's a
in
book.
storage with all your other shit.
No, no, it's a book. It's like it's called his historical tweets, and they take all these like lines from like historical events and they convert them to what Twitter would be, like from the assassination of Lincoln and all these. It's to be there.
Oh.
But it's funny.
Okay.
It's a coffee table book.
Jenny in the chat room says that Alexa just said that she was ordering PJs. Well, that's good, and probably is going to again. You're welcome.
Alexa, upgrade the shipping.
Yeah, can I have it tomorrow?
Okay.
Yeah.
I like
in 3 hours.
I like that I just typed Death Star into this, and it knew to make that capital. Like, it knew to make it a thing.
Oh, because
Okay.
it's, yeah.
I can't remember what city or state of the
Right.
these United States I typed in yesterday that
No,
it didn't do that.
but Death
But
Star-
Death Star,
Oh,
it
it's
knew
a
to
it's
capitalize
a big
it.
it's a
That's
big
funny.
thing.
Star
Makes sense.
Wars 3.5, The Flaw in the
And
Death
so
Star.
you know what? These fucking Harry Potter movies.
There's a wait.
They're
there's
on TV
another one now?
24 hours
Oh,
a
okay, I was-
fucking
Still never watched
day.
one.
I watched
watched, like,
one and I
3
wanted
of
to
them.
stab the person next to me.
The first one's okay.
Didn't know them. Oh, I don't
It was
know.
kind of came out in kind of the golden
My
time back
therapist
in
and
the day,
I
but-
have been discussing that for a century, but
Oh, you have a therapist?
it's on at work
Wow.
constantly.
The show is
So there's
partly that.
some channel that plays all the time. Like that's all they do is play
Well,
fucking
kids
Harry
love
Potter.
it. J.K. Rowling's making bank on it.
I don't get it. And I don't like that's like just because I just thought of that because of Star Wars. I don't know what the names of those movies are. The
don't
first
care.
movie was called Star Wars. That New Hope bullshit started like a
They
decade
renamed
later.
it when they brought everything out.
People try to
and-
act like I'm like, no, I was there. Don't tell me what that
It was
movie was
called
called
Star
when it
Wars.
came out.
I still haven't seen Mean Girls. I mean, what the fuck am I gonna do with Star Wars?
Yeah. So there you go. But that was it. So I don't know what their names are, but the movies are.
Thank you, Aaron from
Yeah.
LA. Good night, sir. Thank you for being a part of our chat room this evening. Okay, so is that any more for the
Yeah,
entertainment?
that was it for entertainment. Just Black Mirror. Like, just pick an episode, find one. I guess there's a
will,
Christmas special that's fun.
Oddly enough, that was something I was watching a documentary thing on phones and like Steve Jobs, and someone, not exactly Black Mirror, but they kind of referenced as, yeah, we look at these things and they're kind of a reflection of
Yeah.
our life. Interestingly enough, they didn't mention Black Mirror, but I just thought that was interesting. Close reference.
Yeah, because I had to look up what the title.
I'd be
meant.
real happy if that was my image looking back at me, but it's not.
Yeah, but that's not the black. You need it to be
I
black.
understand.
I know. See, and then it stops.
I get you. I understood.
Did you get the new one, or you still have the old one? Is that the
No,
Bitch.
it's so judgy.
Yeah, that was really judgy.
No, I mean, I wasn't sure. Some people are
I just
averse
have the
towards
sub-
the iPhone 10.
Oh no,
as I am.
this is my 7.
Oh, okay.
Whatever the plan is that we have, because we have an AT&T business plan.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow we're in some plan that whenever a phone comes out,
You can get another one?
They just ship them to us. But
Oh.
I don't know if an 8's coming or a 10. I have no. I don't
Sure.
really care because
Yeah.
again, every time they come out with a phone, I don't think it does anything that I need
Yeah.
in my life.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
this does everything I need. Takes great pictures. I can text, I can talk to people, which is a rarity.
It's a phone. If I
Yeah,
ever
it's a
did
phone.
that.
It's a GPS.
Yep.
It does all the things I need it to do at this point. So I don't know what the other magical device is,
yeah,
but I don't.
I still like
Oh,
having
I
my
do.
nice home
However,
button.
I will tell you one thing. A friend does have, I guess it's the 8, because that's portrait mode that 8's on.
Yeah, it will do the portrait mode. Yeah. Yep.
I saw them they took some pictures and posted them on Facebook. Those are stunning pictures.
yeah.
Portrait mode, because they were like they were at
Does it
Rebar.
add makeup?
No, but they were at Rebar downtown, and they took the picture, and it does like it's you're completely in focus, but like the other people in the back were not. It was like that was from an iPhone.
Oh wow.
It was
Doing
really
that,
it's really
it's
pretty.
doing that computationally, actually, which is impressive. Software.
Also digitally too. Yeah, so no, I realize
Two
it's
things.
I realize it's software doing
Right.
it.
Yeah.
Because obviously it's just the lens is
it's
not
not
moving.
optical.
Right,
Yeah.
not right.
It can do some of that
Alexa,
stuff.
go to
with-
Rebar and take a pretty picture. Like, how's that work?
It was really a pretty picture.
Am I using that right?
Oh, I know who it is. I
if
can
she was
actually
on-
show
She
you.
only had a phone.
Let me. I will find the picture because it's Joe. It's Joe.
This is the 7 Plus that has the 2 cameras on the back. This can do some of that optically, but they still do it with software. But this has a zoom. But I'm quite happy with this.
No, I am too. So I don't know.
I feel like a zoom camera just ends you back in Matt Lauer territory.
What?
It's nice for landscapes.
I feel like it goes right to creepy.
I don't. Well, you know what? It's only it's not like a 20x zoom. It's a 2x. Like it's not much.
I don't know what you just said, but it sounded charming.
Yes.
I wonder if I can find it real quick. It's because I know which friend it was that took the picture. Because I was like, I even made a comment immediately.
With the portrait mode.
Yeah,
And it can add all kinds of interesting lighting effects. It's
Well, I haven't
pretty,
got to all that yet, but I'm
yeah,
just
it's pretty cool.
when I saw it, I was like, an iPhone took that? Why does that look so good? So I will scan through.
Sure.
So
See, you're doing what I do, but see, I didn't say anything nasty to you.
you at any time you're welcome to.
See?
And I didn't say anything nasty. It was.
I'm just fucking with you. So we should talk about that. Several of our listeners are in the midst of some pretty awful wildfires.
Oh, on the California, yes. It's in just north of LA.
A friend of mine just had to go home early today because of that. And he was posting,
Yeah,
posting on
and,
Facebook about it.
Near Santa Barbara, where Jenny is, north of LA.
Okay.
There's a creek fire burning in the mountainous
And the
Lakeview Terrace area of Los Angeles.
And the winds are
They're-
apparently carrying it pretty
Oh, like
far.
70 miles an hour. The
Yeah,
Santa
the
Ana.
Rye
Yeah.
fire
Yeah.
near Santa Clarita. And then I heard there was, the Thomas fire in Ventura County destroyed more than 150 homes and past 45,000 acres.
It's nuts.
There's a little mountain fire in San Bernardino County. So, I mean, low winds and lots of water for those people. Oh, and the creek fire resulted in the closure of the foothill, the Interstate 210. That's how I get to see Harrison.
Oh, I didn't realize
that
it
goes-
was that far inland. I thought these were further. I don't know. For some reason, I thought they were further west.
Oh.
Well, I mean, but it looks like there's 5 going at the same time.
Okay. Oh, they just can't win out there, and they haven't had rain in for I don't know how long either. And we're like at 105 or 107 days
Yeah.
without rain here in Phoenix.
Which is weird after 2 years of rain and the drought ending. Like all of a sudden, like, oh, where'd the rain go? Like it is dry. And I thought the last couple of days it would rain, but so really, I hope everybody out there stays
Now,
safe.
this is probably not going to do it justice. This is the specific picture I was talking about. That's done in portrait mode on a new iPhone, but the 2 guys in the front are perfectly in screen. Even the little thing right behind his head is perfectly in focus, but everybody else is not. But it struck me when I saw it. I'm like, that doesn't look like a regular
very
picture.
Spielberg.
I loved it, but it doesn't have a score leading you to water to beat you in the head with what's going to happen next.
But that famous
would be
shot from
John
Jaws
Williams.
when they zoom in on Roy Scheider and everybody behind him goes out of focus, and that camera comes in the beach when he realized the shark's in the water that he
Gotcha.
just opened.
Yeah.
Like that's
I getcha.
Spielberg
But I
shot.
love that shot. No, so that would be the only thing that I could think of that at this point that phone does that I'm like, oh, that'd be cool. But this, they're not going to update this iOS for this one to do it, which is fine. I don't really care. But that would be the only thing thus far.
Right.
And I have even debated about getting the larger screen, but we always get this size.
The larger screen is, for viewing more things, wherever they may be, is helpful.
If we watch The Dark Knight on that phone, I'll slap it out of your fucking hand.
The reason, and part of the reason why they made
you
the
have such a hard on for that.
the only reason, one of the only reasons people like the 10 is because since they got rid of the bezels, the screen. They made a phone that was closer to the size of the 7 with the same size screen as this, but because the physical phone is actually a little bit smaller, it's kind of in between. So you don't have to have a larger screen. You don't have to have a larger phone.
Oh, gotcha.
But
My thing with this is like, am I just having to accept a smaller TV? Like, is that what like?
oh no, you're fine.
I'm
I
getting
mean,
a
it's-
bigger phone and a smaller TV.
I'm using these as a phone. Is all
Yeah, I
so
mean,
using it.
it's at this point. I mean, and I live in this kind of tech world. At this point, it's like with phones. If you're happy with something you got, stick with it.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm just like, I want to pay this off one day. I don't want to just keep getting new ones every year or whatever. I'm totally happy with this one.
And I'm still convinced that regardless of whatever
We'll
they
never
say,
pay that off. It's just
no,
Well, actually,
we're
you paid
involved
off
in
in-
some kind of money scam where we're going to be paying for
no.
these
My
phones.
theory is that they
So we're
paid off in 2 years.
107.
they secretly don't tell you, but secretly behind the scenes they figure out a way that the software is self-imploding, and eventually
Oh, yeah.
it ramps the phone down so that you can't do anything, even if you never updated it.
Right.
It just automatically is like, oh, we're gonna just slow you down, and then all of a sudden you got to buy a new phone. Yeah, it's really,
It's more features.
I
and
figured
all
that
of
out
the
on day
stuff
one.
and- yeah.
just annoys me because
This
I'm
is
like,
just a ticking clock,
don't
and when
need
it dies, so you have to buy a new one.
a friend of mine's father still had. I want to say it was an. Is this a 4? Is that what that is?
Yeah, those are the
Still using a 4. This thing, and
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, God damn it! How do you see it? It's so tiny.
There's people that work that have them. You know what? They can text. They can
Yeah.
call.
Yeah. So
I have an old iPod Touch that I use
Their-
for testing.
their
and stuff,
life is
similar
complete.
to one of those, and
life
it's
is
so
complete.
tiny compared
they
to this
don't.
thing.
They do not have portrait mode. That's all they don't have.
What was that?
Okay. Are we? Is there a need for a thoughtful? Are we wrapping this pig up? Do you have?
I think we're good.
Do you have a thoughtful? You don't. Okay.
Not really. Hopefully, Kat will be feeling better next week.
Yes.
I have champers for her birthday.
No,
You have what?
Champagne
Oh,
for
it's
Oh,
her,
champers. What the hell? Is
she's a
champ-
December birthday.
Yeah. Tomorrow.
Is it, I honestly, when I saw you post that earlier, I didn't know when it was, but we'll figure it out.
I'm
Happy
pretty sure
birth-
it's December 6th.
Happy early birthday,
Yeah. So
Kat.
happy birthday, Kat. And we'll see you next week for our no.
We have two more shows. Two more shows
of the
left
year.
for the year.
Our
and then,
penultimate.
we'll get through it. I'm sure somehow, some way. If everybody gets better, Kat, you better get healthy. Get good. Be good.
Yeah, because
Fingers
I'm
crossed.
bringing good champagne for you.
Bad champagne works too. We don't
Yeah,
really care.
exactly.
It doesn't really make any difference.
Different champagne.
There is that. Well, Joe, thank you for being here on this. And it
Absolutely.
worked out well because the two. Otherwise, Al and I just sit here yell at each other for 2 hours.
And we know some
And
of
look
those
up
shows
what we're
would just be
currently
good.
talking about so we don't say
Right,
anything.
exactly.
It's been great. Thank you for having me.
It's quite all right. Well, thank you everybody in the chat room for being with us. I hope you tend to find us again next week because we'll be right here, same bat channel, same bat time. But as we wrap up tonight's show, let's leave you with this parting thought. We will see you next Tuesday.